Here's the starting lineup for today's race. On the front row, the pole goes to Bruno Junqueira outside his teammate Sebastian Bourdais. In row number 2, Paul Tracy, the defending series champion, and Alex Tagliani. Row number 3, Mario Dominguez on the inside, flanked by Ryan Hunter-Reay. The fourth row consists of Patrick Carpentier, the Canadian, and A.J. Allmendinger. Row number 5, Rodolfo Levin and Jimmy Vasser to the outside. Row number 6, it's rookie Justin Wilson and Oriol Servia. Row number 7, Michel Jourdain on the inside and Mario Haberfeld on the outside. The 8th row, Alex Sparafico and another rookie, Nelson Felipe. And the final row is Roberto Gonzalez and Tarso Marquis. So those are the 18 drivers getting set to go here at Long Beach. Let's go down to one of our pit reporters, Derek Daly.
Well, Long Beach is the start of a long trek to try and win this championship, where we wind our way around the world between now and November. If you're to win the championship, every driver knows you could lose it at Long Beach. You certainly can't win it, but you can lose it with a mistake. Now, if Paul Newman's driver, Bruno Junqueira, in the Pacifica cars to win this championship, he knows that discipline will be a major key. Last year's winner here, Paul Tracy, went on to win the championship. That may be an omen for today's winner. Calvin Fish.
Well, Derek, excitement with a lot of new rules, but I'm excited to see the progress of two young American stars. One is Ryan Hunter-Reay. He's now running with this Herdez team. He won the final round last year in Australia. He returns with a lot of confidence. And what about A.J. Allmendinger making his series debut here? He's the 2003 Atlantic champion. A lot is expected of that young man.
All right, Calvin, thank you very much. The yellow flag still waving as the cars are still on their warm-up laps. Bruno Junqueira will lead them down to the green flag, flanked by Sebastian Bourdais, then Paul Tracy and Alex Tagliani. Field beginning to form. We'll familiarize you with some of the ways that you can tell the differences in some of these team cars as we go along. There's the fountain down at the extreme south end of the racetrack, and we should be going green next time around, Tom.
And so what everyone's doing when you see them doing the stop, start, accelerating, they're trying to get some heat into the brakes, also trying to get heat into the tires. The heat in the tires not only helps in terms of the grip, the soft rubber on the surface of the tire, but the tires have become an integral part of the suspension. The spring rate of the tire is dependent on tire pressure. And so as the tires get hot, they build pressure. The crews have to guesstimate at what pressure to start them at so that the optimal pressure and spring rate when they take the green. So a lot of things going on inside these drivers' head, but ironically, once you get down to business like this, this is when you're the least nervous. When you're sitting there on the grids, A.J. Allmendinger had to be about ready to throw up. But now that he's in the car, it's what he knows how to do. It's more in his control. Now you're just focused on the job at hand.
It's an all-Newman-Haas front row, a team on the front row. That's the first time that has happened. Both members of the same team since 1998 when Bobby Rahal and Brian Herta were on the front row. Beautiful day, beautiful crowd, beautiful setting, and we are just about to go racing here at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Coming up on the hairpin now that will set them onto the front straightaway and hopefully the start of this event. 18 cars and drivers now lining up 2 by 2 as they come out of the hairpin, looking down this long straightaway and hoping for the green flag, but no start. The yellow waves. And they're pretty strict in this series, and I compliment them for that. You got to be in almost perfect order before the flagman will give you the green.
And there's some new rules to that effect this year that are meant to define exactly what the starter wants to see. In the years past, when the green flew out, the way these cars accelerated, if a guy got the drop on you by even a split second, he was going to be ahead of you at the line. And there used to be a lot of gamesmanship with the front row. There is a rule now where the pole sitter has to cross the start-finish line on the green flag ahead of the second-place guy.
Take a look at our in-car cameras. There is Bruno Junqueira, who has no one ahead of him. He has his teammate Sebastian Bourdais alongside, but he's the pole sitter. Here is Paul Tracy in the Index Forsyth Championship Racing Lola and Michel Jourdain will also be carrying one of our onboard cameras, and he starts from the 13th position.
This actually bodes well, perhaps for a slightly safer start. They've got an extra lap of temperature in the brakes and the tires, a little bit closer to optimum pressures. So even though the starter doesn't like it, and the race time has started now, and the laps start counting, but a little bit extra time for this first race of the season. Guys have a little bit more control under braking, might not be a bad thing.
Here are the two Herdes cars, and now the front row once again moving single file through the course at this point. There's the number 10 BG Products Red Bull car driven by A.J. Allmendinger. That car will be very easy to spot because it's all yellow. And the other all-yellow car there is the number 11 car driven.
I believe that's Oriol Serbia.
Oriol Serbia. All right, let's see if we can do it this time. They come down, and yes, a beautiful start as the front row stayed right together. And into turn number 1 they go. One of our Bridgestone things to watch. One of the cars getting way out of shape, but taking the lead.
Paul Tracy from third spot.
And
Allmendinger around, hit from behind. You saw Tracy making a bid down the inside, and I think he was caught off guard by how early. And look at this pileup. You've got Allmendinger started that, but there's about 6 cars. That's Justin Wilson. And that's Alex Sparafico in the yellow and red MyJack car. I think that's Jimmy Vasser to the extreme left of the screen.
And Nelson Philippe, I think, is also involved in the incident. So a major confrontation in the first turn. And here it is once again. First of all, watch Tracy go to the inside.
Tracy was not expecting Junqueira to brake that early. He wasn't trying to pass there, but when Junqueira hit the brakes, he couldn't avoid him. He jerked to the left, ended up in the lead.
Looked like that Rodolfo Levin may have run into Allmendinger to cause him to spin. And then
here's Nelson Philippe in the blue and white car.
Yep. And from another angle, we should be able to see. Well, no, Levin did not hit him. He was on the outside of him, but I don't believe there was contact. But in any case, Allmendinger goes around, and that causes a big mess behind him.
Might have been Justin Wilson that got in the back. If we see that, I was so focused on the pass for the lead on the first replay. I think we'll be able to tell from that if we show that first replay again.
That's Vasser there on the far left of your screen that got into the wall and the tire barrier. Back at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, and we are back to racing as the first turn, first lap incident has been cleaned up, and here we go. We're on lap number 8, and Paul Tracy has already separated himself a little bit from Bruno Junqueira. Tagliani is driving third, followed by Bourdais, and then Ryan Hunter-Reay. Patrick Carpentier is next.
Well, whatever pep talks or confidence boost that Bruno Junqueira gave himself over the offseason to pump himself up after coming up short chasing Paul Tracy were quickly put to rest when Paul Tracy, that move at the start was incredible. It'd be interesting to find out afterwards if it was just trying to not hit the back of Junqueira when he broke way earlier than Paul thought. But this is the last thing that Bruno wants to see. Paul Tracy, the guy who won 7 races last year, out in front and checking out this early on.
You could see that he had used 10 seconds of his 60 seconds of the push-to-pass system. What do you think about using it at the start of the race, as reportedly Tagliani did?
Well, it's not a bad plan. It pushed him by Sebastian Bourdais.
Right.
Making up positions is very difficult. So whether he pushed at the start, maybe a 7.5, 8 second spurt gets him a position. I'd say that's a good use of it. Now, early rumors were that from early testing that Tagliani was absolutely addicted to it when they were testing. He's like, fill it back up. I want to use it some more. So that might turn out being kind of like his crack pipe. We might have to say, Alex, just back away from the button.
Well, the push-to-pass system is new this year in the ChampCar World Series, designed, of course, to increase the competition, make things a little more exciting for the fans. Ryan Hunter-Reay helps explain what this new innovation is all about.
Well, basically, the push-to-pass is new this year. All the drivers are pretty excited about it.
Push-to-pass is a momentary increase in horsepower and RPM to allow a driver to get a little more oomph to pass someone.
It's this green button here. When we come out of the corners, push the button, and it gives you instantaneously a 50 horsepower on command.
I can boost speed by another 2 to 3 miles per hour.
Each straight's about 10 seconds. It depends on how the driver uses it. We'll get to use it about 6 to 8 times in a race.
The system will activate, raise the boost, and will not return to normal function until the timer expires or until the driver lifts off the gas pedal for more than 1 second.
It's a part of our race that we really can't strategize for before the race. It's something that the driver's going to have to go out and do on its own, which is pretty unique.
A driver only has 60 seconds, so he has X amount of pushes, and there's strategy involved.
Unlike Ryan, I got it planned out. I'm using it off the start and finishing it completely, because I figure if I just pass everybody off the start, we'll be good. But no, as Ryan said, you can't strategize for it.
Pushing the button and just holding the gas pedal down, not always going to result in a pass. And as that time ticks away, it can't be replaced.
For me, it's great to keep the rookies behind me that get trigger happy with this new button.
Hunter Ray, you're not going to be close enough to me to use the push pass button.
No, you're right. You got a point there. I'll be too far ahead.
No way, man. No way. Way behind me. Way behind me.
Sebastian Bourdais started outside the front row, outside of Junqueira, the all-Newman-Haas front row, and they're currently running second and third and becoming involved in a very close battle for that spot. Meanwhile, Paul Tracy is now down to less than 2 laps.
Bourdais is on the button. Cut his from 20 seconds to 11. Have to solicit input from the fans on coming out with a better name for that.
Yeah.
The juice
button,
the sauce,
the boost button or something. ChampCarWorldSeries.com, I'm sure, will be anxious to hear your opinions on what it should be called. Meanwhile, Tracy is just about to head for the white flag.
And wow, Tracy laid it down big time. I think he used up some of his push to pass. That last lap, a 1:10.1, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the fastest of the race.
Yep. And there's the white flag. 1 lap to go. He comes down to complete the next to last lap, and the interval is 5.1 seconds. Tracy, the champion last year of the ChampCar Series, is off to a very good start in 2004, it would appear. For those of you who missed the early stages of the race, Jimmy Vasser, always a competitor and always a threat to win, was eliminated on the first lap, first turn, in a 3-car accident that also eliminated Alex Marafico and Tarso Marquis. And again, except for the times where he has come in for a pit stop, relinquished the lead during those times, Tracy has led the entire distance after starting in 3rd position and pulling a really impressive move at the start of the race to duck inside of Junqueira to take the lead. And here comes Tracy off the hairpin. Wins the 30th anniversary Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Junqueira second, and Sebastian Bourdais finishes in 3rd spot. This is Tracy's 4th win at Long Beach, and here come
Carpazzi and Dominguez for 4th and 5th.
And Justin Wilson comes home in 6th position. It's Tracy's 27th career win. 2 years in a row, he's won the first race of the season. Back in a moment.
Seb Bourdais this year, he's got one of the best teams, certainly got one of the best cars. He's got a great teammate who will fight him all the way to the last race. But Sebastian is one, I would say it's between 3 men. It's between Bourdais, Junqueira, and Paul Tracy. The rest are running for 4th place. So today may be Seb's day, but Paul Tracy certainly hasn't said his last word just yet.
So restart, and let's see if there is a problem for one or 2 drivers. So now for Dominguez, it can be a great race too, because he has only one thing to do, is to attack, to fight completely. He has nothing to lose.
No, he has just 17 cars to pass. But other than that, it should be a quite easy day for little Mario in Mexico. But anyway, back at the front, it's a Newman House duo. Sebastian Bourdais leads from Bruno Junqueira. Justin Wilson, just to keep England's sake in things going well, running third.
So Tracy is fourth now, so yes, he gained 2 spots in comparison of the starting position.
And you can be assured he'll be all over Wilson's back tail any second now. Another former champion, Jimmy Vasser, the 96 champion, running fifth ahead of Oriol Servia, Carpentier, and Allmendinger's up there. Yes, Allmendinger, in fact, running 8th ahead of Tarso Marquez. A bit of a surprise to see Tarso Marquez up there. And a bit of a surprise to see Michel Jourdain Jr. only running 10th.
Yes, it was a disappointment, I think, for him after qualifying, because he was very far. So this is the same first lap, I would say, after the restart and after the start. Sebastian has the same gap with Junqueira. It was with Dominguez before, but now it's with Junqueira. It is the same, more than 1 second gap.
And for some reason, maybe it's me, but they just don't seem to be fully on the gas quite yet. Maybe they're still trying to get heat into the tires. Everyone seems just a little bit tentative. And Seb's rolling out to even a bigger lead.
We may remember that last year it was almost the same story. Sebastian did the pole, as he did in Long Beach for the opening round of the season, but something went wrong during the race with the radio communication, and it was something missed for him, and he didn't win that race.
Final lap for Sebastian Bourdais. The final 2 kilometers, and victory will be the young Frenchman, his 4th victory after wins at Brands Hatch, the Euro Speedway, the Cleveland night race last year. Team owner Paul Newman, as ever, always on hand to see his boys.
It's nice that he came also to see that race.
Oh, Paul Newman's at every race.
Yeah, at every track.
I don't think Paul Newman's missed a race. Even when he's filming, he makes the races.
Great. So the last turns for Sebastien, and it will be done, and it will be a victory, meaning a lot, because he will take the championship lead.
Absolutely.
Oh no, we want the picture back. Yes.
And Sebastian's making his way around this long left-hand sweeper for the very last time, coming up onto the front straight. Double checkers. Double checkers are out for the Frenchman, Sebastian Bourdais. His 4th career victory in ChampCar. Followed by Bruno Junqueira. Mario Dominguez holds on for a podium finish. Very well done by the Mexican.
Yes, when you remember that he made a spin on the 2nd lap, I think.
Yes, so even getting a round of applause from Paul Newman.
And Sebastian did a great job. And he didn't lose his temper when he lost maybe the first position after the first pit stop.
No,
he stayed quiet and cool, and then
showed his maturity, definitely.
Yes.
And poor Jimmy Vasser looks like he had a problem, and he didn't quite make it to the final line.
Oh, incredible! Just before the finish line.
There is our race leader, Ryan Hunter-Reay, upping his pace now. 22.6 last time around. His fastest lap so far, the fastest lap of the race, is a 21.765. It's an average speed of 170 miles an hour. This time around, a 22.6. The gap now over Patrick Carpentier out to 13 and a half seconds. Paul Tracy another couple of seconds or so behind. Rodolfo Lavigne closing rapidly now on Paul Tracy. Lavigne doing a sensational job, running in 4th, right behind his teammates Patrick Carpentier and Paul Tracy. Sebastian Bourdais is 5th. Michel Jourdain Jr., the final unlapped runner, and that won't be for long at this stage. He is running 6th now, is Michel Jourdain Jr., last year's race winner. 1 lap down now is Dominguez Vasser, Servia, Allmendinger, Junqueira, Harberfeld and Gonzalez. 2 laps down, Tagliani, Mazzacani, who's doing a very respectable job. Then Nelson Philippe, Alex Ferrafico and Justin Wilson. Here we are on board now with A.J. Allmendinger, the young American driver. dominated last year's Toyota Atlantic Championship. He's just 22 years of age, California born and bred, driving for the new Woo Sport team. AJ was, he admitted yesterday in the practice he was completely lost with the setup of that car. He was just blown away by the speeds around this racetrack. He drove here just once before in Toyota Atlantic. He finished third here 1 year ago on his debut at the Milwaukee Mile, but he was finding driving a ChampCar a very, very different kettle of fish, and he admitted, I was completely lost. I just didn't know what to tell my engineer. Well, fortunately for him, his new teammate Michel Jourdain Jr. made some big strides in working with his engineer yesterday afternoon. They transferred those settings over to AJ's car for the warm-up this afternoon before the race just a couple of hours or so ago, and AJ a lot happier with the handling of that car. He is now running a lap down, but he is in 10th place. Bourdais is slow on the racetrack, and the yellow is out. So, 50 laps in the books. We will now see the first round of pit stops. We hear that Bourdais glanced the wall in turn 4. You can see the damage to, well, you can't see the damage, but you can see the sparks flying off, so clearly he has damaged that car. And Sebastian Bourdais, the series points leader coming into this race, has a major problem, and he is limping around. I don't know whether it's game over for Bourdais, but certainly cost him any chance of winning. Sebastian Bourdais, the second man to make a mistake this afternoon, I suppose. Justin Wilson, the first one on the very first lap. Justin got away with it. He's still running a couple of laps from at the back of the field, but now Sebastian Bourdais is in the pit lane. You can see that right front suspension appears to be broken on that car. You can see the steering arm certainly is bent on the right front. So here's the pit stop for the the signal there from Todd Phillips there on the outside front tire, say game over, boys. That right front suspension is broken. They were going to just try and change the wheels and hopefully just get it back into the fray, but I think there's a good bit more damage than they certainly had hoped, and I think that is going to spell the end of Sebastian Bourdais' evening. And he's not really had a happy time at this racetrack. He's struggled here last year. He was one of the slowest cars on the track for a goodly portion of the race. He finally got his act together towards the end of it 1 year ago. He did actually battle his way back to finish in 9th place here last year, but he was never happy with the handling of the car. He came here about a month ago in testing and had a major crash. And here's a replay. You can see there he hit the wall pretty solidly coming off turn 4. The good news for him is he hit it fairly flush with those right side wheels, so it wasn't a major accident, but it's certainly enough. You can see the suspension area is clearly damaged. It's completely broken. That lower wishbone on the right hand side. You can see the sparks flying, and there's somebody got sideways in front of him coming off turn 2. That was so going down the back straight. That's Rodolfo Lavigne actually. That was Rodolfo Lavigne. Now look at him here. He's running wide, and the inevitable. Once you get up into the grey on this racetrack, there's hardly anywhere getting it back. So, pit stops for the race leader, Ryan Hunter-Reay, the Ernest competition team. It goes to work, and a great stop there by those guys. But look at Lavigne again. Brilliant work by the players team, and Hunter-Reay is just going to beat him out of the pits. I don't know whether the other two players' cars the other two Forsyth cars are further back in the field. So, fantastic work by the crew number 7 there. That is the crew chief, car number 3 of Rodolfo Lavigne. Dave Stevens, the Englishman, leads that crew. Brilliant work in the pits. He got out ahead of both of his Forsyth teammates, Paul Tracy and Patrick Carpentier. Now we see all the cars that were 1 lap or more behind coming into the pits next time around. Only the guys on the lead lap are allowed to come in when the pits are open for the first time. There's Tagliani making a pit stop. Everybody else is out on the track as well, it was the 2 Rocket Sports cars, the 2 blue Rocket Sports there coming out in tandem. They were running in 15th and 16th before that round of pit stops, so a disastrous run certainly for Alex Tagliani this afternoon, just not at all happy with that car. Here's a replay of of Lavigne trying to beat Hunter Ray out of the pits. You can see the tail lights flashing on those cars. That signifies that the pit lane speed limiter is in operation. 50 mile an hour speed limit. It extends all the way around to turn 2. And we hear that there was a problem with Lavigne's pit stop. He's going to be put to the back of the field. We'll look into that one for you and get back your information. But here now we see Sebastian Bourdais' car being pushed into the pits. And Lavigne, all they're saying in race control is that he pitted illegally. I'm not quite sure what that means. We'll try and get a clarification. But why, however, he pitted illegally, he's been removed to the back of the field. He's actually been scored a lap down at the moment. Maybe he was a lap down before that pit stop. I don't think he was. Breather. There's Lavigne serving his drive-through penalty. So he's shown 1 lap down. I didn't think he was 1 lap down before that sequence of pit stops, but he's shown 1 lap down, and I think presumably the penalty therefore is because he came in with the leaders and wasn't supposed to, but I don't know. Maybe he'd been lapped. I didn't see it just before the caution came out. That's all I can presume. And we believe that is the case from race control, but it must have been just before the yellow came out. So bad luck for Rodolfo Lavigne. He's going to be making up time at the back of the field, and he's going to drop all the way down to about 12th place. In the meantime, the 2 players' cars going at it in turns 1 and 2. And look at that, way wide, he's getting the wall, and that is the end of the day for Paul Tracy. The defending series champion has hit the wall coming off turn 2. He tried to go around the outside of his teammate Patrick Carpentier, and boy has he paid the price. What a grave error there by Paul Tracy. We knew he's going to be racing. He was thrilled with the handling of that car. Here's a replay. Well, that's the end of the accident now. He was already up in what we call the grey area of the track, up in the marbles, off the racing line. Here it is, making at the restart, making a move on the outside into turn 1. Absolutely side by side around the corner. Here he's beginning to run out of road. And he tries to get on the brakes, tries to get it slowed down. But the contact with the outside wall was too heavy, and that is going to be the end of the day. And we've got the two top guys in the championship coming into this weekend are already in trouble. So what a disaster for Forsyth Racing and the defending series champion, Paul Tracy. Wow. So Tracy was the 2 guys who won races this season so far. Tracy, of course, won in Long Beach the first round of the championship. The second round was won by Sebastian Bourdais, and they are the first 2 guys to strike trouble this weekend. We hear that Sebastian Bourdais, his crew, is back in the paddock trying to make repairs to that car because the points now in the series have been changed this year. Previously, they only paid points down to 12th position. Now, however, they pay championship points all the way down to 20th place. So everybody who finishes gets championship points. So if they can get Bourdais' car back into the fray, then maybe he can pick up a couple of championship points. But Paul Tracy, I think the damage to his car is a good bit more severe. And there is Paul Tracy out of the car. And he looks somewhat bemused, doesn't he? I think he'll be very disappointed, I would suggest, in himself. I mean, certainly Pat didn't do anything wrong there. He tried to go around the outside of Patrick Carpentier and just ran out of room. And even in the early stages of this motor race, once you get offline, it is very, very slippery. And Paul Tracy has paid the price. So for whatever happens this evening, we're going to get our 3rd different winner of the season, no doubt about that. And at the moment, the red-hot favourite has to be Ryan Hunter-Reay. Welcome to Portland International Raceway. Hi, I'm Jeremy Shaw for round 4 of Bridgestone Presents the ChampCar World Series. You're with us 2 weeks ago in Milwaukee. You saw a sensational run by the young American driver Ryan Hunter-Reay. It was his second ChampCar victory, his first on an oval. He took the flag under yellow, but he had dominated the whole proceedings all weekend. He started from the pole. It was a great run for the Erdes competition team. This is the 4th round of the series. We're in Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago. Before that, we're in Monterrey, Mexico, originally in Long Beach, and here we are now in the Pacific Northwest, Portland, Oregon. A wonderful city. It's a vibrant culture here in Pacific Northwest. It's known as the Rose City, and you can see here it's just a horticultural delight. This is the Rose Festival. It's taken place over the last couple of weeks. There's Mount Hood, snow-capped. There is Mount St. Helens, a volcano a couple of years ago, and here we are, Portland International Raceway. Here we are. We're going to have a look at the starting grid for the ChampCar Grand Prix of Portland. On the front row, as we've said, the 7th pole of his career for Sebastian Bourdais. Bruno Junqueira, the series leader, will start alongside. On row 2 of the grid, Paul Tracy was the championship winner, of course, 1 year ago. He was also on the pole here at Portland. Alongside him, Justin Wilson, the second row start for him this year. On row 3, AJ Allmendinger, another rookie driver. He finished 5th in Milwaukee 2 weeks ago. Now he qualifies here. So alongside him, Mario Dominguez. Back on row 4, Alex Tagliani, who was on the podium here 1 year ago for the Rocket Sports team. Again, running well this weekend. Michel Jourdain Jr., that's his best qualifying effort so far this year. Jimmy Vasser, this is his 208th ChampCar start. It equals Mario Andretti for 5th place on the all-time list, alongside Ryan Hunter-Reay. Back on row 6, Roberto Gonzalez, who's done well this weekend for PKV Racing, and alongside him, countryman Rodolfo Lavigne. Back on row 7, Patrick Carpentier had gearbox problems in qualifying yesterday, didn't do a lap at all. He relies on his Friday time. Oriol Servia had a whole bunch of problems on Friday, was running better yesterday. Mario Haberfeld, the quickest of the 2 Reynards in the field. Alongside him, the Argentinian rookie, Gaston Mazzacani, his second ChampCar start. Back on the final row, Alex Verifico and Nelson Philippe, just 17 years of age. That is the field. 18 cars will line up for round 4 of Bridgestone Presents the ChampCar World Series powered by Ford. And Chris Dyson, we're getting ready for the start. Another couple of corners to go. This first corner is absolutely crucial. How tight was it in the Atlantic race? Yeah, cooperation. I think that's the key here for the first lap. I mean, it's very easy to take advantage, try and take advantage and get yourself in trouble. Here we are, we're lining up, we're on board with Justin Wilson. Here we go, the green flag is out. Sebastian Bourdais gets the initial jump. Side punt, it looks like a very clean start. Look at that, that's Tagliani jumping alongside the yellow car of Allmendinger, but Sebastian Bourdais appears to have the lead in the first corner. Junqueira protecting his outside. Oh, there's an incident. That is Michel Jourdain Jr. gets tipped around into the gravel, and that is going to bring out, I think, a full course caution. Oh boy, it was looking clean there for a moment, Chris Dyson. I thought we were going to get away with that. Minor territorial dispute. What a disappointment for Michel Jourdain Jr. He had a great run 2 weeks ago in Milwaukee. Finished 3rd for the Rouge Sport team. His best result on the season by a long way. Come on, guys, he's trying to get the safety car team out there. Here's a replay from, you can see maybe the shuffling around in the middle of the pack. It's tough to, there is Michel's car right on the outside. It gets tipped from behind. Tough to say who that was by. But behind it, the row behind him on the grid was Jimmy Vasser and Ryan Hunter-Reay. Here again, they're fanning out 4 or 5 wide. The extreme left is Tagliani. The yellow car alongside him is Allmendinger. Farther to the front, it's Tracy in 3rd place. Behind Tracy is Justin Wilson. Here from the outside, getting tipped, I think, certainly by one of the Erdes cars. I think that had to be Ryan Hunter-Reay, because Mario Dominguez had started on the row in front of Michel Jourdain Jr. and Ryan Hunter-Reay started on the row behind Michel Jourdain Jr. So I have to assume that it was Ryan Hunter-Reay that tipped Jourdain into the corner. This is Ryan Hunter-Reay, Chris Dyson, and I guess that's one of the sort of incidents we're going to get at this racetrack. Now then, we are going to go back to green. Somebody spun coming off the final corner, right in front of Ryan Hunter-Reay. A big mess on the front straight. That is Rodolfo Lavigne spinning around there like a top. And boy, oh, jeepers, that was a very scary incident indeed. There is that Ryan? That is Mario Dominguez. I think it was probably Mario that spun directly in front of his teammate Ryan Hunter-Reay. Chris Dyson, that must be pretty scary. And you know, we've got this season in the ChampCar World Series, they have the boost button, I prefer to call it, the push to pass button. There's a button on the steering wheel when you press that button, it gives you gives the engine an extra 300 RPMs, an extra 2 inches of turbocharger boost pressure. Here is a replay. There's Allmendinger in the yellow car, then the two Erdes competition cars coming off turn 12. Mario Dominguez just got on the throttle. You can see the car stepped out sideways. He almost caught it, and then it went around on him, and he didn't get the brakes on, and he spun directly into the path of poor Rodolfo Lavin, was absolutely unable to avoid it. No chance of avoiding contact there. And Chris Dyson, I have to say that Mario, let's have another look from a completely different angle as Bourdais leads him down towards the green flag. There steps out sideways the car of Mario Dominguez, and if he just stood on the brakes at that point, Chris, this wouldn't have happened. He certainly didn't, but you know, when he spun it, here's another view from on board with Ryan Hunter-Reay. You can see both cars there twitching around, and there goes Mario to the inside, and Ryan thinks, "Good, I missed that one." And you can see him shifting up through the gears there, and I don't know, he was pushing the push to pass button there as well. There, I think, is the push to pass, but I think maybe Mario tried that as well. But with cold tires, they do not have tyre warmers on these cars. A lot of damage to the Corona entry of Rodolfo Lavin. That is Tom Brown down in the Erdes competition pit, and that Erdes team was very, very optimistic coming into this race. One lap to go, just 2 more miles and 1 more corner. Here is Bruno Junqueira. He is absolutely on the ragged edge. He is chasing after this man, Sebastian Bourdais. Across the line, there is the white flag from the chief starter, J.D. Wilbur. The gap between the cars down to 1.5 seconds. Slightly slower that time around, so running behind Philippe did cost Junqueira a little bit of time, but he was still quicker than Bourdais. The gap now, 1.5 seconds in 1 lap. I don't think he's going to do it, Chris Dyson.
No, I mean, Sebastian's got him right in his mirror, so he kind of knows what the spread is, and Bruno's been pushing as hard as he can, but we're talking about tenths here, and he's pulling seconds a lap out. Yeah, it's going to be too much, but it has been a tremendous charge by Bruno Junqueira. If he hadn't lost all that time in the middle stint of the race, it might be a different story coming down the closing stages. But if some buts don't count in motor racing, speed does. And the man who's had the speed all afternoon and yesterday was the McDonald's car of Sebastian Bourdais. Just 2 corners to go now for the Frenchman. He can get out of the corner cleanly here. Right, he's got a straight run to the checkered flag. There's a slower car there. It's not going to impede Sebastian Bourdais. The checkered flags are ready, and there is Sebastian Bourdais. The reaction from the Newman House Racing team, the McDonald's guys there, they're delighted with their man. A faultless performance by Sebastian Bourdais. He's led pretty much all the motor race. Win number 5 in his career, his 22nd start. That's a great winning percentage by Sebastian Bourdais, certainly best of anybody in the field at the moment coming into this weekend. His win percentage was 19%. It's about 23% now. I'm not going to do the maths that quickly, but it's certainly very, very good indeed by Sebastian Bourdais. It's been a great run by this team the entire weekend. They have been the dominant cars all weekend long. And looking back down the Autoport, Tracy crossed the line is crossing the line now at a distant 3rd place. So we're going to have a look at the final standings of the motor race. Sebastian Bourdais wins the motor race, of course, from Bruno Junqueira. Alex Tagliani there in 7th, ahead of Vassar, Haberfeld, Gonzalez, Servia, and Ryan Hunter-Reay picks up a 12th place finish. Gaston Mazzacani has a good solid run for Dale Coyne Racing. Michel Jourdain Jr. soldiered on after that early incident. Here are the championship points. 4 races into the books. Bruno Junqueira ahead of Patrick Carpocci. Neither of them yet won a rotor race this season. Sebastian Bourdais with 2 wins there in 3rd place. Now just 7 points behind Junqueira. Tracy, Hunter-Reay and Wilson, a brilliant run to be in the top 6 in the points after 4 events. Mario Dominguez, despite a very disappointing day here, out in the very early stages. AJ Allmendinger, a brand new team, now comfortably inside the top 10 in the points, ahead of his teammate Michel Jourdain Jr.
An American tradition. marking July 4th with the Rockets' red glare. And the turbocharged ChampCar Land Rockets. We're at Burke Lakefront Airport in Cleveland. In the 20-plus years of the roar by the shore, drivers like Rahal, Unser, Sullivan, and Andretti have mastered this more than 2-mile road course. Now today's young American stars like Ryan Hunter-Reay and rookie standout A.J. Allmendinger are hoping to join this honored fraternity. But they have to contend with last year's winner here, Sebastian Bourdais, and the reigning ChampCar title holder, Paul Tracy. Who will take the next step toward a championship? It's time for fireworks, ChampCar style. The Grand Prix of Cleveland starts now. Bridgestone presents the ChampCar World Series powered by Ford. Today, the 23rd renewal of the ChampCar Grand Prix of Cleveland. All right, let's take a look at our starting lineup. The starting grid powered by Ford for the ChampCar World Series. Tracy bagging the pole. He'll start alongside Justin Wilson.
And Justin Wilson just keeps getting better. He's a rookie, but he certainly doesn't drive like one.
Second row, here's Bourdais, another key player with Allmendinger.
So third is a bad start for Sebastian Bourdais. He really took this race by the horns, took it to Paul Tracy, and came out on top last year.
And the third row, Tagliani, who's a player in this.
Tagliani finally turning their ship around a little bit, but he's still anxious for that first win. On row 4, you have Patrick Carpentier, who's second in points and hasn't been heard from much this weekend, been off track a lot, but is dominant when he gets it all together like in 02. An All-American fifth row, Ryan Hunter-Reay, who was dominant in Milwaukee, has not been able to convert that into the same success on the road course, but has shown speed. Back in row 6, Mario Dominguez. He took that accident that put him out of the race there in Portland early very personally, felt he let his team down, wants to rebound. Oriol Servia, who's shown flashes of brilliance early in the weekend, but hasn't been able to convert it into a good qualifying or good race result yet. In row 8, Rodolfo Levine, who's shown a lot of speed this year that people weren't expecting, got caught up in Dominguez's mess, is anxious to put up a good result to recoup the momentum. And in row 9, bringing up the rear, Alex Sperafico and Gaston Mazzacane. Neither of these drivers clearly has come to grips with the Cleveland circuit.
So that is your 18-car starting grid, powered by Ford. The ChampCar World Series back on the racetrack here at Cleveland, the Burke Lakefront Airport circuit, getting ready to do battle. 97 laps around this 2.1-mile circuit here today. Yesterday, of course, qualifying, the Trans Am round here extremely competitive. They've laid down some new pavement. There's a big issue to talk about as we get ready to go racing here through this part of the course, turns 9 and 10, and coming to the green flag, coming to the start-finish line. Several drivers spun in practice and qualifying. Ready to go. Glad to have you with us, and we're underway. Tracy goes way left. 5 wide. Contact. Tracy goes around. Parts littering the racetrack. A couple of cars are in the grass. One of the MyJack cars is stopped on the racetrack. That is Justin Wilson, the outside pole sitter.
What happened there is that's Paul Tracy's kind of signature move. He does it when he starts in the back. He goes way to the left. That is the normal preferred line to set up for turn 1 when you're all by yourself. He figured if he could get in there deep and turn, he'd be fine. But what happened is Wilson started heading for the inside, but then got clipped by another car and knocked back into Tracy.
Calvin Fish downstairs.
We're down here with Eric Bachelard, who manages this team. And Eric, we saw Justin go into that corner and make a sudden dive for the apex. Did you see on the monitor? What are your thoughts?
Well, just talking with Justin right now, I mean, he was a bit surprised because Paul was on the outside and Justin went on the inside, and then Paul turned right on him. So that's his comment. So doesn't seem very good from what I can see on TV. It seems the suspension is damaged, so it's a shame.
A big shame, because that was a tremendous qualifying performance by Justin Wilson. He is a rookie, of course, in this series, and typically a rookie will have seen Cleveland before, maybe in Toyota Atlantic or something else, but this was his first visit to this racetrack, so big disappointment for this team. Let's go down to Double D, Derek Daly.
With Neil Mickelwright, team manager for Paul Tracy. Neil, turn 1 is the signature corner at Cleveland. We know there's action. Do we know is Paul's car damaged?
Yeah, it is damaged. It appears to be damaged on the right-hand side. Right now we're trying to ascertain the degree of damage to see whether we need to stop or whether we can continue.
Thank you, Neil. So it obviously is not too much damage, but Paul Tracy, who started on the pole, thought he was in the safest position to be able to control this, because remember, there's a new rule this weekend here. You cannot pass any car before you go by the start-finish line. We should have technically given Tracy a little advantage.
Well, Tracy's signature move here is to go wide left into turn 1 at Cleveland to avoid the carnage. Did he turn in too soon, Tommy, as we take another look?
Well, in a way, he almost, I mean, you can't blame this on Paul Tracy, but in a way, you got these guys that just can't help themselves. When they see daylight on the inside, whether it's a good move or not, they're going to go for it. So, in hindsight, you could go down the inside and just back everybody up early, but you certainly can't blame him. But leaving the inside wide open invited those guys. They just can't. It's like a pack of wild dogs and some hamburger meat.
3 laps remaining. Bourdais leads your running order at the top, along with push to pass time remaining. 8th spot to Dominguez, 9th to Levine. They're out of it. 10th right now to Nelson Felipe. So the 17-year-old, although he has not been as fast as the leaders, has run a very clean race and has profited greatly from the problems some of the quicker cars have had here. Tagliani runs 3rd, Serbia 4th. A very good run for the Dale Coyne team.
Yeah, Serbia actually he didn't have the second fastest lap of the race. Bourdais holds about 6 faster than anybody else, but Serbia is the second fastest driver, having posted a lap a little over 2/10 slower than Sebastian Bourdais. And Craig Hampson talked about the potential in losing your rhythm or your concentration. Sebastian Bourdais just turned a lap within 1/10 of his quickest lap of the whole day.
2 laps to go as we lock in on Jimmy Vasser, who has a top 5 day going in the PKV Gulfstream Lola, but he's got A.J. Allmendinger filling his mirrors, and this is for position, Tommy Kendall, as the laps wind down. Allmendinger's really got the business. He's been behind Vasser for quite a while and hasn't been able to do anything yet with Jimmy.
At this point, it gets tough. I mean, the track is probably getting quicker. You see Bourdais running that lap towards the end. He's trying to keep the focus on stay sharp, but that means the track's probably getting quicker. But the other side of that is that the brake pedal might be getting a little bit longer. So that's something that at this point, sometimes the cars last just about as long as the race, so there's only 2 laps to go. It's hard to say if Jimmy's babying his brakes, if Allmendinger still has everything under him, but he's getting close enough, not quite close enough to make a lunge, but starting to fill Jimmy's mirrors. Jimmy's got enough experience. He's probably given back just enough to make it to the end.
Coming to the white flag, Bourdais picks up the white flag here in Cleveland. The McDonald's #2. Bourdais has dominated here today. Did not start on the front row. The 2 front row starters, Justin Wilson, the rookie, and Paul Tracy, the series champion, got together in turn 1 with a host of others. They crashed out early. Bourdais took over on the restart and has been out in front virtually all the way, other than the laps given up by going to pit road. And as we say, Bourdais still has 34 push-to-pass seconds left. He certainly won't need them on this final lap.
Someone needs to tell him those aren't like your cell phone minutes. You can't carry those over to the next race.
No rollover seconds allowed here. Last trip around this 2.106-mile circuit at Burke Lakefront Airport. Great move for the ChampCar World Series, announcing this weekend they have extended their contract with the city of Cleveland to run here at least 3 more years through 2007. This is the 23rd renewal of the Roar by the Shore. And Bourdais gunning for his 2nd consecutive win, his 3rd of 2004. Sebastian Bourdais is your winner of the ChampCar Grand Prix of Cleveland. Not much to say about a great day like that for that team.
No, really. I mean, that's something where I'm sure he spent a lot of time last night figuring out how am I going to get even A, stay up with Paul Tracy, B, get around he and Justin Wilson. All of a sudden, those challenges evaporated at the start. It was a cruise from there on out.
Bruno Junqueira takes 2nd, the 3rd time this season that Bourdais has led Junqueira 1-2 to the checkered flag in the ChampCar World Series.
I saw a lot of fire, though, out of Junqueira today. Yeah. And that's what he's going to have to do if Bourdais gets on a roll like this. The safe route is not going to work if a guy is finishing races and running quicker than you.
Well, Paul Newman was making a movie about what happened this weekend for Junqueira. The backstory is that Junqueira hit the wall twice. They had to fix the car, basically rebuild the car twice. Quickly downstairs, Derek Daly.
Paul, there is so much celebration with this team, and you're here to see them all. That Bourdais guy is pretty special.
Because, I mean, Junqueira went down to 12th and came back up to 2nd on some drive too, so pretty spectacular.
A lot of champagne in this team. Do you like champagne?
I do now.
Thank you, Paul Newman. Always such a great supporter. It's great to see an owner always come to all these races despite his celebrity and having to fight away through the crowds.
Reigning ChampCar champion Paul Tracy is known for his aggression. A go-for-broke move at Long Beach in the season opener got him to victory circle and kicked off talk of a repeat championship. But in the rounds that followed, Tracy has had his share of misfortune. A disappointing race in Monterrey, Mexico. An early crash at the Milwaukee Mile. And slow traffic in Portland meant the checkers went to other drivers. 1 week ago in Cleveland, Tracy took his first pole of the season, but any hopes for victory were short-lived. Tracy goes way left, contact, parts littering the racetrack. Now round 6 of the ChampCar World Series, back in Toronto. Tracy dominated a flag-to-flag run to victory 1 year ago. Will running on his home soil get Paul Tracy's title hopes back on track? Don't miss the ChampCar excitement. The ChampCar Grand Prix of Toronto is next. The ChampCar World Series, powered by Ford. Today, coverage of the ChampCar Grand Prix of Toronto. A beautiful day for racing at Exhibition Place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The 19th time that the ChampCar World Series is performed here by the shores of Lake Ontario. As always, a huge crowd of fans has turned out to witness the ChampCar World Series, one of the signature events in the Tour for many, many years. Hello again, everyone, and welcome live to Toronto. I'm Rick Benjamin. I'll be joined momentarily by 4-time Trans Am champion Tommy Kendall. It's been a very interesting week. Sebastian Bourdais is the hottest driver on the Tour. But all the talk this week has been about what happened 1 week ago in Cleveland involving Paul Tracy and Alex Tagliani. Ready to go. Glad to have you with us, and we're underway. Tracy goes way left. 5 wide. Contact. Tracy goes around.
I got a good start, had to jump. And the first thing I saw was Tagliani go flying by me in the braking zone, 100 miles an hour, too fast for the corner, and then I just got nailed. As soon as I turned for the corner, I got just nailed from the side.
You know, he's a big whiner. You know, right now it's not going for him the way he wants, and he's crying, so I'm going to let him cry by himself.
Alex who? When he wins a race, then I might give him a little bit of respect, but it's 5 years coming, so I don't really have much to say about it.
Right now he's in the crying mode, you know, so I'm going to let him do that by himself.
Put it bluntly, I'm not a person that really likes Alex Tagliani. He talks like he's a champion, but he's never done anything out on the racetrack to prove that, so that's really all I have to say about it.
So that's just a sampling of the war of words that's evolved over the last several days between Paul Tracy, Alex Tagliani, two native sons of this great land. But what really happened going into Turn 1 week ago? Well, our Derek Daly breaks it down on tape.
So the war of words between Tag and Paul Tracy really escalated because of the first lap incident at Cleveland. Let's have a look at what really happened and where the blame really lies. Look at the videotape run to Turn 1. Tracy and Wilson on the right side, Tagliani minds his own business down the left side of your screen. But the real key to how this unfolded is highlighted here, right side. These are the brake marker points, the reference points that Justin Wilson can no longer see because he's beside Paul Tracy. So you roll the videotape into the brake zone, Tracy brakes, Wilson doesn't expect it, and he suddenly swerves off to the inside and gets in the path of Tagliani, who's now ahead of him, braking late, but Wilson realizes, swerves back, and as you roll the videotape, you can see he collects and mugs the unsuspecting Paul Tracy, and shrapnel flies everywhere. So when you look at the videotape, it is clear that Paul Tracy is wrong to blame Tagliani for the first lap incident. I believe the blame lays squarely at the doorstep of Justin Wilson, a rookie.
Now, Justin Wilson has been very impressive, but let's take a look at Alex Tagliani and Paul Tracy wheel to wheel, Tommy Kendall. It doesn't look as though Tagliani's got a lot to talk about.
Well, but that doesn't come into play in an individual incident. Now, for the record, the stewards agree with Derek Daly. But if this was my courtroom, Johnny Cochran could not get Alex Tagliani off because, and there's 5 guys who agree with me, the 5 guys who had the best view and know the most about it, the 5 guys who started in the front 3 rows besides Alex, they all said, we had no idea where he was going. There was no way he was going to get stopped. Bourdais said, I thought he was going in the lake. So Alex has learned a lesson from Bill Clinton. He says, don't tell on yourself. He's just kind of kept it zipped up. He's been throwing bars, but he's never said it wasn't my fault.
Very interesting developments all week long, and certainly all the carnage in Turn 1 at Cleveland. We don't expect something similar today, but there are a couple of very difficult spots on the track. We'll talk more about Turn 1 and Turn 3. First, though, let's check our starting lineup for today's ChampCar Grand Prix of Toronto. Sebastian Bourdais, Paul Tracy on the front row.
Now, without the edge that Tracy had in years past, he still hopes to grind these guys into the ground with the support of his hometown fans.
Row 2 of our starting grid powered by Ford. There's Junqueira with Dominguez.
And Bruno Junqueira told us last night Mario Dominguez is probably the most aggressive guy in the series.
Justin Wilson starts 5th today.
And don't expect last week's event to tame the aggression of that rookie, Justin Wilson. Ryan Hunter-Reay looking to try to get a road course result to match his dominant win on the oval at Milwaukee. In row 5, Alex Tagliani, don't look for last week to tame him, and either he's looking to go to the front. Jimmy Vasser, who struggled in qualifying, making small gains with the PKB team, but 3rd quickest in warm-up. In row 7, Mario Haberfeld, former Formula One test driver, but just really struggling trying to get that Reynard up to speed, starting to show some frustration. On row 8, you've got Roberto Gonzalez and Gaston Mazzacane, 2 rookies, neither of which come to grips with this circuit. In the last row, we have Mimo Gidley on 1 day's notice, coming here, only got in the car yesterday, but looking to become the super sub as he was known years ago.
As the field rolls away on the first of several pace laps, getting ready to line them up 2 by 2 and getting ready to go racing here today through the streets of Toronto. 3 different onboard looks for you here today. We'll ride with Paul Tracy, who lines up in 2nd spot. He is the defending series champion. Also from the 5th row in the Rocket Sports Johnson Controls Lola, this is Alex Tagliani. Mario Dominguez starts in 4th spot today in his Urdez machine, car number 55, and certainly a very strong qualifying run. Remember, they had gearbox problems and did not have a complete qualifying session yesterday. Dominguez, though, had knocked off some very, very good laps. Looking for a green flag. 95 laps to go here in Toronto. Great to have you with us, and we are underway at Exhibition Place. Bourdais, Tracy, Junqueira into 1. Justin Wilson on the inside.
Dominguez got the wall on the outside. He and Bruno together.
Junqueira racing for the championship, being conservative, hard hit into the tire barrier. Will be caution at least in that part of the track, and it is a full course yellow. Tracy and Bourdais down the back straightaway, but they will back off and tuck in. First lap, Tommy Kendall.
Well, you saw Mario Dominguez said he was going to the front. He stayed up on the outside of Bruno Junqueira going through turn 1. I don't think Bruno saw him there. He was just off a little bit. They don't have spotters. I think Bruno let it out to the wall, not knowing Mario was right next to him. Big squeeze play. Another incident looks like A.J. Allmendinger down in turn 3 with the yellows out.
Allmendinger has gotten offline. He gets pointed in the right direction. Here we are from the 4th starting spot. Dominguez
coming on the outside.
Cold tires here. Junqueira just clouded Dominguez.
Yep, he didn't realize that Mario was staying up on his outside there.
And there you can see the gesture. One more look from a little deeper angle.
And the concrete that Bruno is on is extremely slippery.
A hard hit into the tire barrier. There's Bruno Junqueira with the green and yellow helmet. Dominguez is out. Both drivers appear to be fine, but one would assume those cars are done for the afternoon. Here's another look at it. You can see the wheel off of the Urdez car, the 55 of Dominguez, and he and Junqueira just had nowhere to go but into the wall. Now, Tommy, side by side on the start like that, why would Bruno Junqueira not think there's a car alongside him?
Well, if you look, when they first hit the brakes, Dominguez was not up alongside. And so when they turned in, Dominguez was making a run from the center of the corner out. So he was out of Bruno's view and was coming back in. He was almost wheel to wheel with them.
Yeah.
But he in these cars, you really can't see very well out the sides with the head restraints that have gotten built up and so forth. So I think he thought he was gone, got on the power, started to drift out, not realizing he was alongside him the whole way.
As we watch work going on pit road, let's take a look back at some of the turn 1 incidents this season. This is Tracy's move. He gets through cleanly, but Allmendinger goes around at Long Beach.
Well, there's a squeeze play with Allmendinger. Jimmy Vasser was passing a bunch of guys on the outside here. Here's
Justin Wilson, I believe.
Lap 1, that was pretty much a case of
Fico.
I think that was Justin Wilson.
Yeah. And then at Portland, back in June.
3 wide, squeeze play. Jourdain, the loser on this round.
And last week, of course, the one everyone's talking about at Cleveland, where Wilson went inside, outside. Tracy caught up in it. Tagliani down through the grass. And certainly it's been a case, I think, of a lot of these guys just needing to relax a little bit on the start. of racing left today here in the streets of Toronto. Paul Tracy on the button now, back in the lead, 1.9 seconds to the good over Bourdais. So has this cycled through to Paul's advantage now?
Not to his advantage. He needs to get in before Jourdain's backing up, turning some quick laps.
Take you back and show you what's happened. This is the big incident right off the start. Junqueira, the points leader in the Pacific Air car, moved up, clipped Dominguez. They went into the wall. Contact here. Ryan Hunter-Reay will knock into the back end of Alex Tagliani's machine. And a little later on, Ryan Hunter-Reay and A.J. Allmendinger. This is at the end of the backstretch under caution. They tangle. Allmendinger goes around. Ryan Hunter-Reay was penalized, had the nose wing broken for the first time. Lap 25, Ryan Hunter-Reay got into the back end of Roberto Gonzalez, knocked the wing off a second time of the Urdez machine. And on lap 42, this is right off the restart, Justin Wilson and Paul Tracy at the end of the backstretch. Wilson goes too deep, opens the door. Tracy goes inside. They make contact. Wilson spins. Tracy continues, but he was penalized. Oriol Servia into the tires as well. So that's just some of the action we've seen. It's been an action-filled afternoon here in the streets of Toronto. While we ride with Tracy, 1.5 seconds to the good for the moment over Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais has made his stop. Ryan Hunter-Reay sits fourth behind Jimmy Vasser. 15.6 seconds the gap. There you see how the top four stack up with 25 laps to go by distance. But only 18 minutes to go by time. So we'll see about 15, 16 more laps of racing here today.
The players, the Forsyth team needs to get PT in as we see AJ coming in for his final green flag stop. I'm used to seeing a logo on the side of that Western Union there.
New backing for ChampCar this weekend, and certainly applaud them for that.
How big a money order can you send to Western Union? It's not cheap to sponsor one of these things.
It was big enough to get the logo on the car this weekend. There's Tracy with the red number 1 on the rear wing of the index car.
The reason I say they need to get him in is the crossover point has been passed. Jourdain is now outrunning quicker laps than Tracy. So, like I said, the tire degradation switches the conventional wisdom around. They need to get Paul in, or the staying out longer, he's going to come out again and be asking him, how did he get in front of me?
Tracy, the only driver of the first four who has yet to make his final green flag stop. He stays on the racetrack, out in front. There's Bourdais behind him. Bourdais may be able to run him down anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's a factor. He's one stop ahead of Tracy. Yeah. So there are going to be some bleeding ears after this one.
So their strategy has gotten off cycle.
It's gotten off cycle, and again, the thinking is always you run longer than everybody else, but that assumes that you can run your fastest laps while a guy is running slower on heavy fuel and cold tires. Jourdain's already running quicker laps than Tracy's running right now.
Shows Jourdain a 101.5 last time. Tracy running a 102.2. That's a pretty significant gap. Bourdais at 101.4 the last time by.
That charge you saw Paul put on, the wheel spin he was using to get by people, really takes its toll. And the fact that if a yellow comes out, he'll be behind everyone who stops. I mean, there's no good okay, he's in the pits.
There he comes.
So, interesting to see. We need to see where Jourdain's progress and see where he is when Paul comes out.
So Vasser has stopped, Bourdais has stopped, Hunter-Reay has stopped, and here comes Tracy to Calvin Fish.
Well, this is the last of the leaders who needs to stop under green, and they really try to roll the dice a little bit, trying to get it so that the tyre change would match the fuel stop. They will be short filling, so the tyres will go on, and shortly thereafter they'll pull the fuel hose. The one they were getting into, and there you see it. Tyre change is done, fuel is done. It was really the risk versus reward of getting out of whack there, because if there was a yellow, it was going to stack the pack, and Tracy could have gone from like a second or third place finish all the way to 6th or 7th.
Oh, and contact on the way off pit road. Contact with the car, the Office Depot Gigante car of Michel Jourdain. So Jourdain's in the wall. Paul Tracy has just made his final stop of the day under green, but off pit road, he clipped the 9 car of Michel Jourdain. And Jourdain had nowhere to go, right into the concrete. His day is done. Second week in a row that Jourdain's got it. Here is Tracy. into the corner. There's Jourdain, and they make contact. Now again, Tommy, as you pointed out, no spotters. Did Paul even know he was there?
Yes.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
So Michel Jourdain very frustrated. Our 4th lead change of the day as Sebastian Bourdais takes over. And it is our 6th full course caution with 14 minutes, 10 seconds of racing to go under caution. Calvin Fish.
Jeremy Dale with Roos Sport. Jeremy, PT certainly not making any friends today. What did you see?
No, you know, and Calvin, Michel fought all day. He really did. I mean, he got involved early on, and he fought his way back up, and he really earned that position. And Paul just came out of the pit lane and understeered right up into him. And, you know, Michel didn't pinch him down. Michel left him all sorts of room, and it's just, you know, it's not really fair. And I understand that Michel is very, very, very disappointed, and he should be.
Michel, good friend of Paul's, but when you get out there and you're racing hard like this, I mean, Paul was on a mission trying to get it back to the front, but sometimes you got to give up a little bit.
You can see Carl Russo, the team owner, standing up on the pit box as Jeremy Dale gives more information. Watch Michel Jourdain there. He's up in the seat of the car, up in the pods of the car, waving at Tracy. And that's some genuine emotion from Michel Jourdain.
Well, and rightfully so. I mean, Paul just can't accept that things aren't going his way. He got screwed by his team there. Them not staying on top of that strategy, that never should have happened. He should have been 3 or 4 seconds up the road. Now, that being said, he's the one that did that to Jourdain. He just, when things start slipping away from his expectation, he just can't handle it. And he wanted the car to stick. The car won't stick, and he wouldn't accept that. Drove right into Jourdain, ended a great run.
And Michel Jourdain had a top 5 run going today, but his teammate Ryan Hunter-Reay's got a good day going, Derek Daly.
Well, this yellow really helps Ryan Hunter-Reay. He stopped 2 laps earlier than they wanted him to at the last pit stop because he has a fuel pickup problem. They filled the tank, but they know before this yellow that he could not run hard for the rest of the race. In fact, they were doubtful that he could even finish with the fuel pickup problem that he had. They were hoping for a yellow, and Paul Tracy obliged.
So Ryan Hunter-Reay picks up a break. Tracy's still on the racetrack. One more look at the incident moments ago. This is from Tracy's visor cam. And here it is as Paul comes up onto the racetrack. Into turn 1 off pit road. There's the 9 car. Contact. Tracy able to continue, but not enough room for Jourdain to get through. Safety cars in. Green flag will go in the air one more time here today at Toronto. Here's Bourdais.
Now Hunter-Reay, watch Hunter-Reay. Hunter-Reay has 11 seconds to push to pass. Vassar is out of his.
Heading toward turn 1. Vassar stays in second spot. Inside move on Haberfeld there by one of the MyJack cars. That is not for position. They'll see the white flag next time by. Hunter-Reay and Carpentier battling for 3rd spot. Carpentier has just 3 seconds left on his push to pass. This is Tracy. Being shown 7.
Lots of tire smoke up ahead. That must be Hunter-Reay.
Carpentier, I believe, got by him there into the backstretch. Oh, Ryan Hunter-Reay's day, which was not going well. He does. Right rear tire down on the 4 car. So Ryan Hunter-Reay, who had a podium going, something has happened to the tire. He's trying to wrestle that car home today, but it may not work. Here's Tagliani. We ride with the Rocket Sports number 8. Tagliani at 6th despite that contact. Bourdais, meantime, has kept his nose clean all day long.
He sure has. He was done a big favor when Wilson and Tracy basically took each other out of the running.
Last time around for the McDonald's 2 car. Vassar in 2nd comfortably. Carpentier, meantime, has moved up into 3rd.
His wings this year. That's how the flat tire happened for Hunter-Reay.
Contact there at the end of the backstretch. Boy, it is big time. Can that nose cone stay intact here on the high-speed backstretch? Haberfeld trying to get close enough to make a move. Haberfeld could score a podium here. The MyJack car kind of taking up space at the moment.
Oh, man, Carpentier is struggling.
And Haberfeld can't get by the lap car. I believe that's Justin Wilson there. Who was 13th in the running order, a couple of laps down.
And that's why they put the lap cars behind when you're past half distance or whatever it is. And
they just didn't get him back where he needed to be.
They wanted to get back to green is why they didn't do it. But
let's talk for a moment about Sebastian Bourdais, who I'm sure is going to assume the points lead. Final corner for Bourdais on his way to his 3rd consecutive victory. From Le Mans, France, Sebastian Bourdais wins his 4th race of 2004. The Newman Haas McDonald's team raising their arms in salute on the pit wall. Bourdais dominates in the streets of Toronto. Jimmy Vasser is second. Patrick Carpentier comes home third. Mario Haberfeld with a great run for Derek Walker's team in fourth. Paul Tracy gets credit for fifth despite the black flag. Gaston Mazzacani, talk about a surprising result, sixth. Tagliani soldiers on to seventh. Hunter Ray gets his car home in eighth. Oriol Servia ninth. And Alex Sperafico rounds out the top 10 today here in Toronto. A wild day of racing here in the streets of Toronto. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage today. Sebastian Bourdais with his third consecutive win. First time that's happened since the first 3 races a year ago, when champion Paul Tracy bagged 3 in a row on his way to a title-winning season. Bourdais in the points lead as we predicted, now with the 4 wins. He's got nearly a 30-point lead over his teammate Junqueira as we check the top 6 in the season standings. In 2 weeks, we're in Vancouver. Hope you can join us 2 weeks from today. That wraps up our coverage of the ChampCar World Series Grand Prix of Toronto. Join us Sunday, July 25th. We will have live coverage of the Grand Prix of Vancouver, the next stop for the ChampCar World Series. From Vancouver, British Columbia, of course, the site of that great event. For Derek Daly and Calvin Fish and Tommy Kendall, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for watching. We congratulate Sebastian Bourdais. So long from Toronto. If he's going to have a shot at the title, he's got a long way to go, but this could be an important building block for him today. He leads Tracy leads Bourdais, Levine, and Dominguez. 19 laps complete of 85, almost a quarter of the way home. And we had that early incident, Mazzacani hitting the wall before the green. Since then, it's been amazingly a clean race.
Which is unusual. I mean, we had one out before the start, and as we have documented, the average number of cars out through contact alone is 8 in the last 8 years.
Everybody being very, very cautious here in the first couple of dozen laps. You saw Bourdais running second. Here is Levine, who's third. Dominguez fourth. They're closing in on the MyJack car of Alex Sperafico, who's a couple of laps down already. Justin Wilson, the team car to Sperafico in the 34. Wilson's up to 7th. He's had a very good run here so far today. And we're getting close to that time when the fuel window, pit stop window.
I was just about to say, we're at lap 20 right now, and the best we can figure, the teams are pretty tight-lipped with this kind of stuff, but around lap 18, you can make it on 2 stops. If you pit now, you can still make it on the required 2 green flag stops. So the most likely candidates for something like that are a guy, believe it or not, Bourdais could roll the dice. He probably won't, but someone who doesn't have cars immediately behind him would be a more likely candidate to say, I'll come in. If you get a yellow between now and the leader's pit, all of a sudden you're leading the race.
Bourdais 3 seconds behind Tracy, but he's got about 17 seconds on the battle for third. And Tommy, you mentioned a few moments ago that you thought the guy at the head of the queue, third spot, would be Levine. He's maybe holding up Dominguez and then Carpentier, Junqueira, and Wilson, who are running 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, and Gidley was right in there with that group. Now there's a little bit of a gap.
Oh, contact! Carpentier.
And Levine's already backwards.
Levine had spun in front of this. Carpentier trying to get around, and caution on the racetrack. Our first full course yellow of the day. Levine has stalled the 3 car. So that will jumble the standings considerably. And remember, you must make 2 green flag stops. So if you're thinking, well, leaders might pit here under caution, probably not. Looks as though Carpentier, he's thrown the wheel away. It looks like he thinks he's done for the afternoon. We'll try to get another look at it for you. The MyJack car of Sperafico up against the tire barrier. And was that a case, Tommy, did you see? And you can see the damage to the rear end. Carpentier's car badly torn up. Did he turn down on Sperafico too far?
Well, he's taking the normal line. You have Sperafico coming down the inside, who's ostensibly pulling over for him, and then he races him into the corner.
Carpentier very frustrated, had a good day going. He was 5th right before that incident. Our first full course caution of the day. Safety truck 1 is there to service the incident down in the corner here. We had Alex Sperafico, a lap car on the inside, and the car, Patrick Carpentier, trying to get by him. This is Sperafico, the MyJack car, left of your screen. Junqueira right behind Carpentier as they ran 5th and 6th. At the end of pit road into turn 1, and contact sends Carpentier around into the tires, knocked the rear end off the car, essentially. Here's one more look from up above. Here's Levine. He had spun as well up ahead, so it makes you wonder, Tommy, moisture down on the racetrack here?
I think we have two separate incidents, because Sperafico was caused by he pulled over to let him by, and then he didn't let him by. And that's where the big problem is there.
It's right here with Rodolfo Levine, qualified second, was running in third. Down into one. And Dominguez right behind him, just stepped out on him, it appeared. The track did not appear to be wet at all. There's Patrick Carpentier. For a Canadian driver to win in Canada, that's just huge.
Well, yeah, exactly. This race is almost maybe more loaded in certain ways because of Greg Moore. Greg Moore, this being his hometown race, and Paul Tracy and Greg were very close. The Sunday night party in Vancouver is legendary. Greg used to be spearheading that, saying, hey, I'm going to show you guys how to have a good time. All of Greg's friends have carried that on in his honor. There was rumor that Dario Franchitti was going to charter a plane after Milwaukee to come out for the Greg Moore we'll see at the front party, which is what Greg said last words before his last race in Fontana. He said, I'll see you guys at the front. That's the name of the party. And so when Paul was on the top step of the podium last year in the players' colors, Paul doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve, but if you go into Paul Tracy's bus, the only photos in there are 3 photos on the fridge of Greg Moore standing next to his Viper, of Paul and Greg standing together. So even though Toronto's his hometown, this one is very special to Paul Tracy.
And on the front straightaway here at this racetrack, and we haven't really been able to get a good look at it, but the word courage is painted down there, along with Greg Moore's name and the years that he graced the earth with his life. So he is well remembered, certainly, here in his home territory of British Columbia. Tracy, meantime, coming up to the white flag next time by. 83 complete. Working on 2 to go. And there it is at the start-finish line. Greg Moore, number 99.
Greg Moore personified courage. There were not too many guys braver in a race car than Greg Moore.
Had one of the most amazing seasons in the old Indy Lights series ever. I think 11 wins one year in Indy Lights. It was just an incredible season that he put together.
And I remember his rookie run there at Homestead. He was going around guys on the outside, and I'm like, boy, this guy, I think he was 20 years old, 21 years old. Just incredible.
A preternatural talent, to be sure. Tracy heading to the white flag. 1 to go at Vancouver. Let's listen in as Tracy brings that car home. Watching the battle for second, here's Jourdain. Running in second spot. A.J. Allmendinger about a second further back in the 10 car. Oh, and Jourdain overcooks it. And we'll wait here, see if Tracy does get any words from his crew, from Neil Mickelwright or any of the other boys.
Both Jourdain and Allmendinger on their push to pass right now.
They've burned it up, in fact, but you do get that final burst, maybe a little overtime. You can hear the fans applauding Tracy as he goes by each grandstand here. He has dominated in car number 1 today.
Believe it or not, he probably can hear that in the car.
Last couple of corners ahead for Tracy, bidding for his 3rd Vancouver victory. And back-to-back wins from the pole. And here he comes to the stripe, and Paul Tracy, hand in the air, collects the victory, his 2nd of the season in the ChampCar World Series. Fans on their feet, applauding their native son. The Forsyth Index crew very excited, and Tracy spinning donuts at the end of the front straightaway, as is his tradition here.
Your mom's proud of you. Your mom's proud of you. Those are good donuts.
Baked up about a dozen.
And they were not Krispy Kremes. There is a huge grandstand at the end of the front straightaway, maybe one of the best grandstand positions I've ever seen at a temporary circuit. And Paul went right down in front of those fans to spin that car and salute the crowd.
And he stalled it, so he can't do his victory lap.
That's okay. He's got the wheel off, and you know how thrilled he's going to be. Is that a big monkey off his back, Tommy Kendall?
I think so. Look at that.
Great victory for the defending series champion in the ChampCar World Series. Rest of the field taking the checkered flag. Carl Russo's team, the Rousport bunch, 2nd and 3rd today. Michel Jourdain and A.J. Allmendinger. And there is Carl Russo, fist pumping 2 podium finishes for his 2 drivers here this weekend. Let's take you through the final running order. Tracy, your winner. Jourdain in 2nd. Allmendinger runs 3rd. A 2 podium finish today for the Rousport team. Bruno Junqueira and Sebastian Bourdais for Newman Haas run 4th and 5th. Mario Dominguez for Herdez Competition comes home in 6th position here today. Alex Tagliani for Rocket Sports in 7th. Not a bad day.
Not at all. He was in the middle of the race. He was really happy with his car and was moving forward, but the way the pit stops, I think they maybe did a short fill in the middle of that one. Whatever it was, they ended up about where they started.
Roberto Gonzalez, Justin Wilson run 13th and 14th. Last cars in action. They got Wilson back on the racetrack after a couple of mechanical problems today. Levine, a heartbreaker. He finished out of the money.
Paul Tracy, ChampCar's 2003 champion, drives with emotion, a fury that can produce brilliance or mayhem. Sebastian Bourdais, the 2003 ChampCar Rookie of the Year, plenty of quiet confidence behind the wheel. It's given him the points lead. Tracy, Bourdais, the hot, the cool, the rough, the smooth, the yin and yang of ChampCar. 31 more points up for grabs today. Round 8 of the ChampCar World Series at Road America. Who will take the next step toward this year's championship?
Bridgestone presents the ChampCar World Series powered by Ford. Today, exclusive coverage of the ChampCar Grand Prix of Road America, the 8th round of the 2004 ChampCar World Series. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin. Welcome to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Beautiful day to go racing. It's warmed up nicely into the middle 80s. A little bit of sunshine. It'll be a very challenging afternoon for the 18 ChampCar drivers and teams who are chasing a championship. Today begins the second half of the season. Thoughts of a title starting to work on many of these drivers today. Let's show you how the standings lay out after 7 rounds. Sebastian Bourdais, 4 victories. The points leader, his teammate Bruno Junqueira in second spot. Mario Haberfeld starting in the field today. Back in row number 6 outside alongside Michel Jourdain as they accelerate up the hill, ready to go. 52 laps, 210 miles. The ChampCar Grand Prix of Road America. We're glad to have you with us, and we're about set to fire them off. Green flag is in the air, and Bourdais gets the drop. Vassar to the inside.
Hunter Ray got swamped there.
Bourdais, Vassar, here comes Junqueira on the outside. Looked like Carpentier got up to 4th. Oriol Servia, the Oak TV car. A lot of shuffling. Allmendinger to the inside, and we're on board here with Haberfeld.
I think that's actually Tracy. Oh!
One car off.
I think that was Levine, got crossed up, coming off a 3.
Still fighting hard for position on lap number 1. This is Haberfeld we're riding with. Offline.
And look at Bruno and Jimmy going at it.
Side by side for second spot. A.J. Allmendinger. Started in the 7th spot today.
Oh, and that side by side, Tracy was able to get around Vassar.
Tracy moving up from 6th starting spot. Vassar started 3rd, so Tracy really on the button early here.
And that's where that, if Vassar really is running lower downforce than everybody else, you'd be, on the first start, he'd be in good shape, but until the tires come up to temperature, the higher downforce would be what you want.
Still working lap number 1. It's 4 miles around Road America. Side-by-side racing up the backside. Bourdais leads. Junqueira is 2nd. Tracy to 3rd, and Ryan Hunter-Ray and Vassar touch. They both go around. Contact. Carpentier gets into Vassar. Trouble on lap 1. A couple of the drivers we thought would have great days possibly here today in big trouble. Full course yellow before 1 lap is in the books. Cars in the kitty litter and in the grass. Here it is again. 1 car out of shape. That was Hunter-Ray.
That was Hunter-Ray. I think what happens, I think he got through the kink better and had a run on Jimmy. And I think Jimmy, the straightaway isn't straight there, so cars are juking around. And I think Hunter-Ray got pushed out in the gray stuff. And I think that at that point he said, you know what? I think that ticked him off. He said, I'm coming down the inside for putting me out in the dirt there. And you saw what happened. Got in. And ordinarily he might not have made the move from there, but I think he was upset. Either way, the result was he got down the inside. There wasn't enough room for both cars.
One more look from on board A.J. Allmendinger. Car's already out of shape. That's Hunter-Ray to your right. Carpentier getting into Vassar off to the left. Allmendinger steering down the middle. Jimmy Vassar, who qualified 3rd, his best qualifying run of the season, in trouble early. plenty more to come here today at Road America. We will meet Mario Haberfeld and hear from him on the issue of fuel management. We'll be back with a lot more. Stay with us at Road America. Paul Tracy, who started 6th today, has played his cards perfectly, it appears. He's got the lead by 1.2 seconds. He's pulling away from Oriol Serbia. And Tommy, all of a sudden, the Newman Haas mates, Bourdais and last year's winner, ChampCar, who's all over Bourdais now for 3rd, they can't do anything with Oriol Serbia.
No. And what Nickelwright didn't say, he said, I called the green when it came out. He didn't say where that was relative to when the pass took place. So that'll give the officials something to work on. But regardless of that, it was a breathtaking move by Tracy when they got to turn 1. It reminds me of, I said that the race was won here in 94. Jacques Villeneuve made a big draft, and so Bourdais protects the inside, makes Tracy go to the outside. Tracy goes Buffalo Boy around the outside.
3rd place in play. Meantime, we'll get back to that. Here's ChampCar on the inside of Bourdais. ChampCar goes around, and he's in the groove. He releases the brakes and goes off into the kitty litter. Listen to Bruno ChampCar. Trying to check his in-car radio.
Sebastian, I was inside. That's not fair.
I believe he said that's not fair. Trying to spin the wheels and get it restarted, and full course yellow being displayed for Bruno ChampCar.
That's not fair. He made a mistake. He had to let me pass.
Just relax, okay? Just relax. We'll get you out of the gravel. You have to come straight in the pits.
ChampCar off course, and you could hear the frustration in his voice, getting the word from his team that he needs to get pulled out of the gravel and come directly to pit road. Now, can he do all this without losing a lap? Some cars coming in for their green flag stops. Roberto Gonzalez stopping, but that'll be a caution stop for Gonzalez.
And there's a case where Bruno was wheel to wheel with him when they got to the brake zone, but it looks like Sebastian went in a hair deeper, and so at the very end, when he came down, started to squeeze Bruno out of room. Bruno actually put Sebastian in front of himself, spun himself out to keep from getting into Bruno. That's always a precarious situation. If it had gone the other way and he had spun out Sebastian instead of himself, then you're going to take major heat. You almost can't win in that situation. I think he expected Sebastian to maybe not race him as hard. Sebastian went in deep. It's hard to tell from that angle if he turned in a little earlier than normal. That would be the one thing that he'd be justifiably upset over, but it's hard to say from that angle.
Paul Tracy on pit road under caution, as the field is under yellow for the 3rd time today. 16 of 52 laps complete. Tracy coming to a stop, and they'll make a yellow flag stop.
Everything's going good. We are going to fill the car. We are going to fill the car. Everything's going good. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Wait for it.
You heard that Neil Nickelwright, not only does he coach him on restarts, he coaches him all the way through the pit stop. In the meantime, Sebastian Bourdais gets his service. He had to come on pit road. He had no more fuel. He doesn't want any changes, and they said the tires are also losing their life. You can tell by the hand gestures, he touching his helmet saying, I blew it, we're in trouble. In fact, his team told me that now they don't believe they're on the right pit strategy.
A.J. Allmendinger off pit road as well. The leaders deciding to stop under caution. They still must make 3 green flag stops before lap 43. 16 are complete at Road America. A wild early part of the ChampCar Grand Prix of Road America. Paul Tracy had been leading Jan Beekes, but now trying to get something decent out of the day.
Well, we saw it did not quite pay off for Rodolfo Levine. We certainly applaud his aggressiveness, but now Paul Tracy has got his opportunity. We saw it was 10.1 for his teammate. They're going to hope for something much quicker than that. Again, won't need the fuel. Oh, there's a problem on the left front. A big problem. They have to come get another gun. They're diving over the wall to get another gun. They had a gun failure. Unbelievable. In the final stop that Paul Tracy needed a quick one, they have a mechanical failure.
Wait for it, wait for it. Okay, go. All 4 wheels under the line, all 4 wheels under the line.
Almost 25 seconds for Paul Tracy. Boy, it's been a tough day for Paul. Nothing going his way.
Boy, even before that, it was ugly.
Bruno Junqueira right up alongside Tracy now. Tracy back on the racetrack on the lead lap. Junqueira is not. He is 15th the lap down, remember. But here he comes trying to get by PT. Junqueira picks up a spot. Tracy bumps him. Takes out Junqueira. Turns him around at turn 5. These two drivers running second and third in the championship. There's contact. And Junqueira dead in the water. Looked to me like Tracy just pulled out the chrome horn there, Tom. What do you think?
Well, what happened was he was on cold tires, and he couldn't. Once he got closer, then he lost downforce. So I mean, the fate was sealed when they went to the brake pedal. So but yeah, I mean, you could tell that was going to happen. The minute he broke as close to Junqueira as he did, you could tell that was what was going down.
Junqueira is stalled. Junqueira trying to pass Paul Tracy here. Junqueira lap down.
Junqueira created that for himself. Junqueira was on the inside and he popped to the outside, and you cannot stop.
Well, and plus, being a lap down, do you race that hard?
Well, I mean, that was just, I mean, he thought he was clear, and so he eased to the outside, but Tracy hadn't hit the brakes yet, and so Bruno's pulls over in front of him, is on the brakes with hot tires. There's nothing Tracy can do about that.
Alex Spirafico and A.J. Allmendinger in trouble. Allmendinger has spun. He's rolling backwards down the racetrack. We may see another full course yellow here. The caution is out for the 5th time today. Obviously an incident between Spirafico and Allmendinger. Allmendinger has gone around. He's right in the groove. They've got to get a yellow flag out in that corner. So A.J. Allmendinger slapping the steering wheel. Very unhappy. Some contact with Alex Spirafico. Knocked a winglet off the front of the 14 car. We'll be back. And we are with you, of course, at Road America as the laps wind down. About 4 laps to go if we had stayed green. There's about 8 minutes of race time remaining here today. And now with a caution, Tommy. The top, well, everybody has made their 3 green flag stops because we're past the 43 lap mark. What are we looking at here? Tagliani being shown the leader. Levine 5 seconds back. Vassar cycles up to 3rd.
I think Vassar,
unbelievable.
I think what we're looking at is a race ending under caution that was wild.
It has been an amazing day here at Road America. A.J. Allmendinger with the Lance Armstrong Live Strong Foundation logos on the car. And there's Spirafico. The 14 car had lost part of its right front wing. You can see there some damage on the nose of the MyJack car. And evidently there was contact between Spirafico and the A.J. Allmendinger machine. Allmendinger seen rolling backwards up the racetrack. That's the reason for our 5th full course yellow of the day with 8 laps to go. But as we said earlier, this will be a timed race. You see 7 minutes remaining, 7:10 remaining in the top left of your screen. A.J. Allmendinger being pulled back and turned around, and they'll try to refire the 10 car, the Rousport machine. Let's take a look back. We've got some looks for you. This is Allmendinger alongside Carpentier.
That's Tracy.
Or Tracy, rather.
Yep.
Now, Tracy had just had that incident with Junqueira. There's Allmendinger trying to get to the inside of the 1 car.
Just got away from when the boost came on.
Allmendinger going around, so the Spirafico incident had nothing to do with the 10 car. And A.J. slapping the wheel. Sebastian Bourdais restarts 3rd. He's the points leader. Right in front of Haberfeld. Ready to go green. 3.5 minutes of racing to go as they come up the hill.
Alex did a nice job getting himself a little bit of a cushion there on that restart.
Top 5 are out of push to pass time. Here comes Dominguez and Hunter Ray. The teammates are side by side for position, and Hunter Ray gets by. Wilson trying to get by Serbia for a spot, and he does.
The way this day's gone, I'd put it about at even money that we get through these 2 laps without another caution.
Contact that looked like Serbia got together back there with Jimmy Vassar. They stay on the racetrack, though. Tagliani leading Levine, Bourdais. Here comes Ryan Hunter-Ray, getting the word that there'll be a black flag shown to Paul Tracy next time by.
For what?
On board Haberfeld. Perhaps some contact at Haberfeld off the racetrack. inside turn 5 this time. He's had trouble on the outside a couple of times there. This one on the inside, and he gives up tremendous ground. Haberfeld was 4th. That'll cost him 8 or 9 spots. 3rd spot belongs now. Is that the car of Carpentier? It is. 3rd in the running order, but Carpentier 2 laps down. He's actually 14th.
We're being told that that black flag for Tracy is for avoidable contact with Junqueira. That is an absolutely horrible call. That shows no understanding of what the dynamic there is in turn 5. If a guy breaks on the inside and angles for the turn-in point, you absolutely cannot avoid him. It's downhill. You're already standing on the brakes as hard as you can, and a guy slides over in front of you. That is 100% Bruno's fault.
Meantime, Tracy's teammate, Carpentier, holding up Bourdais, the championship leader. Carpentier 2 laps down. You see the time clock. This one will run on time, top left of your screen. We're being told the white flag will be in the air for the race leader, Alex Tagliani. Here he comes in the Rocket Sports. Johnson controls Lola. Tagliani to the stripe, 1 to go at Road America. Levine in 2nd by 1.3 seconds. Bourdais is 3rd. A lot of scrambling. That's Bronte Tagliani, Alex's wife, bottom left of your screen. What a weekend it would be for Rocket Sports. Our own Tommy Kendall bagged his first Trans Am victory in 7 seasons for Rocket Sports here yesterday. And now Alex Tagliani might win Rocket Sports' first ChampCar World Series event in their 2nd season on the tour. Rodolfo Levine with a terrific day going. He sits 2nd. He's got a 2.5 seconds over Bourdais, but here comes Bourdais. The McDonald's car.
And talk about the swings. If you don't have that yellow fall on that lap, you're looking at a Tracy Bourdais 1-2. Because the yellow fell on that lap, which is pure chance, it's not pure luck that Rocket Sports is in this position, because they did what they did hoping for a yellow on that lap, and then they answered the Newman-Haas guys' time to get back on course. So they've made the most of it, but if the yellow does not fall on that lap, this doesn't turn out this way. But it did, and they're looking at their first win.
Team owner Paul Gentilozzi with the headset on. He's closing his eyes. Can't believe it might just happen. Bronte Tagliani smiling. Couple of corners left for the 8 car. Nobody threatening him. Levine was 1.4 seconds back last time over the stripe. There's Levine in the Corona Beer car. A lot of action behind him. Here's Bourdais trying to get around Carpentier, who's 2 laps down. Bourdais thinks he might be able to get 2nd out of this. Ryan Hunter-Ray back there in 4th spot. He wants to get up and try to take a run at 2nd spot. His teammate Dominguez in 5th. Very good day for the Urdaneta.
This is what happens.
But here comes Tagliani.
Fantastic. I couldn't be happier for you. Somebody here wants to talk to you.
You did great, baby! You did so good! I'm so proud of you!
So in the 8th round of the 2004 ChampCar World Series, Tagliani, your winner. Rodolfo Levine's best career finish in 2nd. Championship leader Bourdais is 3rd. Wilson gets 7th ahead of Vassar and Jourdain. Guy Smith 10th in his first start. A.J. Allmendinger 13th in front of Carpentier and Junqueira. Gonzalez, Spirifico, Gaston Mazzacani did not finish here today. Championship standings as we head toward round 9 next week in Denver. Bourdais leads with 4 victories. He's got a good lead over Junqueira. 49 is the margin. Tagliani is 3rd now, 1 ahead of Tracy. Patrick Carpentier, 11 points back in 5th. Ryan Hunter-Ray is 6th with his 1 victory this season. A wild one today at Road America in the 8th round of the championship. That's our coverage of the ChampCar World Series at Elkhart Lake. Next Sunday, we're in the streets of Denver, Colorado for the 9th race of the 2004 season. For Jan Beekes and Chris McClure, Bronte Tagliani and Tommy Kendall, I'm Rick Benjamin congratulating first-time winner Rocket Sports and Alex Tagliani. So long from Road America. Elkhart Lake marked the halfway point of the season. The pressure was on. Aggression was the rule of the day. When it was controlled, it was awesome. But when it wasn't, there was mayhem.
No, I don't think so right away, but hopefully someday soon.
While the front runners tangled, Alex Tagliani kept his nose clean and drove brilliantly. His first victory in 85 tries.
You did great, baby! You did so good! I'm so proud of you!
Now time for round 9, where anything can happen. The ChampCar World Series Grand Prix of Denver is next. Bridgestone presents the ChampCar World Series, powered by Ford. Today, coverage of the ChampCar World Series Grand Prix of Denver. Field lining up 2 by 2 by 2, ready to go here in the streets of Denver. Mario Haberfeld getting in line in the 5 car, cleaning the tires one more time, single file for now, as they head down to turn 7, the end of the backstretch. And Tommy, they've narrowed that corner up on entry, haven't they?
They've narrowed it up on entry. You don't have the variety of choices on line, but they've made it a little wider on the exit. Now watch the first 2 rows here. Watch Tracy on the inside of row 2 and watch Junqueira, who's starting on the outside of row 1. Both those guys have very little to lose relative to Sebastian in the championship.
Getting ready to line it up now. The first turn at the end of this straightaway is a 90-degree right. It's been hard for many of these drivers to get hold of. Glad to have you with us. Green flag is in the air. We're in Denver and we're underway. Bourdais to turn 1. Junqueira right with him. And they both go. Bourdais goes around. Junqueira gets away. Another couple of cars tangled. That is just what Junqueira needed.
That's exactly what needed, but I think he might have a penalty coming in. It looked like he got to the line before Bourdais. That's an electronic scoring audit. If his transponder got to the line, and look at this. More dicing back in the pack.
Justin Wilson, Rodolfo Levine, Nelson Philippe, his first drive for Jack Conquest. Full course yellow on lap 1, and last week's winner, Alex Tagliani, broke the front wing off the 8 car. So caution waving here, and that's what a lot of these drivers were talking about early was, could we get through a lap?
Yeah, well, and like I said, you had 2 guys with huge incentive to make moves coming into a corner where it's almost impossible to make one. You saw Bourdais up on the rumble strips.
Did Junqueira not give him enough room there?
He crowded him, but I think that was probably payback. You know, it's probably about what he felt like happened.
On board Junqueira.
Definitely a bump. Definitely a bump. Almost a mirror copy of what happened last week.
So Junqueira comes away okay. They're going to have to come and get Alex Tagliani, last week's winner. Bourdais has refired. Full course caution to begin the fun in Denver.
Quick update. I know it doesn't look great for Bourdais. He's now down in 13th place. However, Kenny Seelig on the left side of your picture here and Craig Hampson on the right side. Craig looks after the engineering. They have been in contact with Sebastian. He said the car is fine. He's very cool, very calm in the car. And they are actually bringing him in to top off the fuel. So that is a discussion that's going on right now, not fully decided yet.
There's Bourdais. He will restart from 13th spot at this point if they elect not to pit. Coming off the final corner here. This is 9, heading to the new start-finish line on the short straightaway immediately to the left of the cars. Safety cars in. Green back in the air to begin lap 4. Junqueira, Tracy behind him. Carpentier, Mario Dominguez, Serbia, and Allmendinger. This is Oriol Serbia.
You saw a little glimpse of how treacherous the brake zone is there for turn 1. You saw Bruno get the rears locked up. Back of the car jumped out to the right.
Now Junqueira has won 2 straight here, has yet to win in 2004. How hard is he going to be to pass for Paul Tracy?
Well, we saw it. No one was able to pass anyone for the lead in the last 2 years. So, I mean, qualifying very important here. A little bit different, probably even harder to pass now with the fuel considerations. Mario Dominguez, I talked to him before the race and said, are you going to be able to make the moves like last year? He says, well, unfortunately, with getting rid of the fuel windows, he says you're so preoccupied with trying to save fuel that you can't be aggressive. It just uses up too much gas.
But we were talking off there, Tommy, the way things are set up with these Ford Cosworth motors now, there's not as much control over fuel flow for the driver as we see how successful Junqueira has been here. Led all the way 2 years ago and led all but 30 laps last year.
Yeah, you don't have the same kind of mixture knob that you had when you had the engine wars going on. The difference between full lean and full rich was a big amount in terms of saved fuel. But the fact remains now, without a fuel window, you have the incentive. If you can sip enough fuel and go a lap longer than everybody else, you're in great shape.
Just like in your street car, if you're concerned about fuel economy, there are a lot of things these drivers can do to save fuel. You can short shift, you can brake a little earlier, you can let the car roll through the corners more. A lot of changes you can make. But if you're behind, the natural inclination is to put it to the mat.
Well, but the thing about it here, but with the brake zones being as slippery as they are, by rolling into the corner and coasting a bit, it really doesn't hurt you much lap time-wise.
The two Forsythe Index cars, second and third. A.J. Allmendinger back in sixth position. Bruno Junqueira in a familiar spot for him. He is out in front. Tracy chasing him. Tracy with 2 wins. Let's take you back just a few moments ago to the drop of the green, the contact in turn 1, points leader Bourdais.
Look who gets to the
outside.
line first. See, Bruno's in the right, the white nose. He got to the start-finish line first, which is prohibited by the rules. I'm surprised we didn't see a flag on that because it's an electronic audit where the scoring system just says this transponder got to the line before that transponder. It's not a judgment call, and he was clearly ahead at the line there. I'm surprised we haven't seen a call from the officials on that.
ChampCar officials say no penalty will be assessed. Is it because they saw Bourdais get to the corner first?
Well, Bourdais didn't get to the corner first. He got pinched with Bruno and nose ahead. So we'll have to see if we can get an explanation for that.
Here's another look at Junqueira waving to the starter as he was shifting.
And if you look, he wasn't. You don't have much time. You're so busy with the shifting. But when he's asked for, the blue flag is given to the lapped cars, and so if he just is calm and waits until they're slowing him down and starts waving, he's lost an opportunity. So he starts being a little dramatic ahead of time. And like I said before, it's like it's the equivalent of being really dramatic when you try to draw a charge in basketball.
Junqueira took the lead in turn 1, but we slipped there as he comes off the corner. This is late in a run for these drivers, so tire wear is starting to become an issue. Junqueira closing in on Alex Tagliani. It will drop tag a lap down in the 8 car. Junqueira dives inside in turn 9. Tracy behind him by 0.3 seconds, so Tracy has really closed the gap down. Your Ford telemetry taking a look at how Junqueira is operating car number 6.
Now he's up on the back of Tag. Let's see if he heads for the pit lane. Tag does, so Bruno stays out.
Ryan Hunter-Ray, Jimmy Passer on pit road. Paul Tracy planning to stop next lap.
Okay, Paul, I want you to pit this lap. Pit this lap. Copy.
Carried down into the corner, listening to Paul Tracy, hearing from Neil Mittelwright. Tracy running second. Looks like they will pit this time by.
Bruno got wide on the exit of turn 1.
Tracy's radio, he's reeling in Junqueira. Maybe he's not happy about deciding to pit that.
Well, this is exactly what you want to do. If you're going to pit before, you want to be on the guy's bumper and then hope that you have a better outlap than he does on full tires. Bruno might have to come in this lap too because we're at lap 38. This is a long run.
Tracy showed the nose of the 1 car to Junqueira, diving into turn 9 there. Main straightaway is a short one over the start-finish stripe. First spot belongs to Dominguez. He's trying to put Gonzalez a lap down as well. Gonzalez in the red Nextel car. Dominguez in the green and white Hernandez machine. Tracy right behind Junqueira. First time today he's been right there.
Pit. Remember, 2 wheels under. Watch your speed in the pit lane. You've got nobody to block your entry. Nobody to block your entry. Nobody to block your exit.
Top 3 cars come to pit road. That is Paul Tracy's radio.
We're all set up and ready for you. It might be a fairly quick one, so be ready for it. Be ready for a quick one. Everything's looking smooth. Everything's going well.
There will be no changes for Paul Tracy. He thinks the car is good. There is no changes for Junqueira. Tracy beats Junqueira out of the pits as Bourdais comes in. Sebastian Bourdais now about to peel off and come in. There is only tire pressure changes for Bourdais. Calvin?
Well, Mario Dominguez was in and he didn't beat the leaders out there, but there was a change on his car. They went up with the front tire pressures and down on the front wing. The car's a little bit too pointy, too responsive on the front end, and it actually works over the rear tires. So an adjustment for Dominguez. He should be a little bit stronger on this second stint.
Royal Serbia also off pit road. Bourdais beats Serbia away from the stop. So the first round of green flag stops shuffles the running order here. Tracy should be the leader.
And Neil Mittelwright gave us a little hint. He says this might be a quick one. Sounds like he knew it was going to be a quick one, which to me says it was a short fill.
Putting fuel in these cars takes longer than changing tires, so you do have that option if you think you can make it. To leave it a few gallons short, it's a lighter race car and it gets you up the road quicker.
The penalty you pay is on the next stop. If you can't go quite as far as the next guy, it's again, it can be undone the other way around. So now the onus is on Paul. Paul needs to build a little bit of a gap to Bruno.
1 second's the gap for Tracy as we ride with ChampCar under the Bridgestone Bridge. Here's Tracy, the leader in the Forsythe Index car. Getting set for a restart. Oh, great check there perhaps by Bourdais on ChampCar. Coming to the restart, 12 to go. Tracy, Dominguez, Bourdais, and ChampCar, 1 through 4. Here comes Bourdais. Ball move to the inside. Dominguez locks him up. Bourdais over the curve. They touch. Dominguez goes around. Bourdais to second. Dominguez back on the hammer.
I have never seen a guy lose that little time on a spin.
Laying down black ribbons of tire rubber. Serbia in trouble.
Chaos behind him.
Michel Jourdain trying to get by Serbia, who was 6th on the restart. A.J. Allmendinger didn't get by him, so Allmendinger jumps up to 5th. Serbia to 6th. Tracy continues to lead. On board Hammerfell. He's got Justin Wilson there with him in the MyJack car. Bourdais and ChampCar now running in 2nd and 3rd spots. They both got by Dominguez. They started on the front row, remember. Here's Tracy. Tracy jumps in front. Let's take a look at what happened off the restart.
You think those guys in the front were geeked up?
Oh, man. Well, you can see Bourdais reaching for it as they came off the final corner. Quick dive to the inside. Dominguez stayed in the middle, tried to protect, but he couldn't do it.
He stayed in the middle, and then he faded inside. Bourdais was almost mowed those cones down.
ChampCar took advantage to get back to 3rd. Here it is from ChampCar's onboard view. He was close to Bourdais, but Bourdais able to jet away on the next straightaway. Calvin Fish.
Down here with Tom Brown, team manager for Herdez. You had your sights on the lead. We got the caution, and then very aggressive there. Bourdais going for it, and your man's trying to put a block.
Yeah, we did not need that last yellow, that's for sure. Yeah, we just, we're looking at it. It's tough. It's a tough call.
Well, we've got to get back to the action there. Tracy's under pressure.
Push to pass. Down the backstretch, Tracy perhaps with a problem because Bourdais just caught him. No problem at all. Bourdais for the lead on the inside.
Both on the push to pass.
Into 9. Bourdais gets by.
Unbelievable.
Tracy right back at him. 10 to go this time by. And Bourdais pulls away. Wow. Tommy, as quickly as Bourdais got to Tracy while we were hearing about Dominguez, I thought maybe he had a problem.
And clearly, I mean, he was having trouble getting up to speed. Big time sideways onto the front straightaway.
And Tracy not able to maintain the pace at all.
This reminds me of what happened to ChampCar when Tracy got by him after the last set of stops. Just took him a long time to get going.
ChampCar 3rd. Derek Daly, what's the problem for Tracy?
Neil Mickelride. Bourdais seemed to gather Paul up pretty quickly there. Did Paul have a problem?
We're looking at the data now. It looks as though maybe we locked up the brakes going into turn 5, which allowed him to get a bit of a run on us going on down to the back straight. So it's not over yet. Still 10 laps to go.
You've watched the laps by Bourdais. Do you believe you have the speed to run him down potentially?
Truthfully, I don't think we have the speed, but I think Paul Tracy has the talent.
Oh, well, there's the challenge.
That's pushing all your chips to the center of the table.
Well, that's like I said. I mean, there are times when he doesn't have the car, but he just calls on every trick in the book and sometimes makes something happen. You can't if a guy's got a huge speed advantage, he's not going to get an opportunity to do something like that unless we get another restart.
Well, the gap, 2.4 seconds. So not only did Bourdais catch Tracy and pass him on the backstretch going to 9, he's pulled away now with 9 to go. ChampCar, meantime, trying to reel in Tracy. So the Newman Haas team, Sebastian Bourdais, 13th on the restart after the early caution here. He's raced his way back to the lead, bidding for his 5th win of the season. And Bourdais is all alone with clean racetrack in front. Here's a look at the move on the backstretch. The lead bid here by Bourdais. Tracy unable to do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, he getting
team reaction there on pit road.
They should be excited. I mean, this is an incredible performance by this young Frenchman. I have to say it's fitting with the kind of gap that he had on everybody in qualifying to come up through the field. I mean, this is you're watching a performance like you're not going to see very many times. A track that people say is hard to pass on.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have a speed or a time advantage in a place like this. It's quite another to be able to use it to pass Champ Cars under race conditions. Up at the top of your screen, our running order, along with push-to-pass time remaining. Remember that push-to-pass button right side of the steering wheel gives the driver 50 more horsepower, extra turbo boost for 1 minute of time. Here's Junqueira, who led early after the turn 1 skirmish with his teammate Bourdais. He's won the first 2 races here in the last 2 years. Right now, though, is third and can't get by Tracy. Mario Dominguez, who got passed on that restart, he got shuffled back to fourth. Dominguez coming up on Junqueira. He wants to get back onto the podium here if he can. Riding with Junqueira. Junqueira about 0.8 of a second behind Tracy. 7 to go this time by. The gap is almost 4 seconds. Bourdais over Tracy.
Sebastian Bourdais has radioed in. He said, I think there's something wrong with the left rear. Kenny Seawick and Craig Hampson looked into it and looked out of the data and said, no, you're fine. Keep moving forwards.
Well, the only thing I can guess is that he meant the left rear tire, and they checked the pressure on the telemetry. If he thinks there's a problem with the left rear suspension, or maybe when he bumped up against Bruno, let's listen.
Stay quiet on the radio for now.
That last lap, they all ran virtually at the same time. He pulled out that huge lead. Now they all ran 103.6, 103.6, 103.6, 103.8 for Bruno, 103.7 for Dominguez.
And all we need to do is stay in front. Keep it on the island.
Craig Hampson, the team manager for the McDonald's 2 car, and Bourdais talking to his driver. Bourdais all by himself. 5 seconds to the good right now, running in the lead.
To add insult to injury, he's geared it up again. That last lap, 0.8 quicker than everybody else.
That is thumbing your nose at the rest of the field. Tracy continues to soldier on in second spot. It's been a wild one today in the streets of Denver. 2 laps to go, 2 to go. Tracy on the push to pass, trying desperately to reel in Bourdais. White flag is in the air for the leaders. Here comes Bourdais. Restarting 13th after that skirmish on lap 1. He has charged back to the lead.
And that lap, a 101.2. I believe that is the fastest race lap.
Junqueira, meantime, with his hands full, trying to hold up Mario Dominguez. Last time around, this 1.6-mile circuit here in the streets of Denver. All alone, all by himself on his way to his 5th win of the season.
A very peaceful one.
Watching Tracy. In second spot. Junqueira has caught him, but Bourdais on a Sunday drive now through the streets of Denver. The Newman Haas squad taking a look at the monitors. Final quarter. Fans are on their feet here in Denver. Sebastian Bourdais heads to the checkered flag from 13th to the lead. And Bourdais wins his 5th of the season. Tracy will come home 2nd. Junqueira over the line in 3rd. Dominguez gets 4th. A.J. Allmendinger headed to the stripe. And he will finish in 5th position.
I think it's okay. It's just bottoming. Can I make it run?
Guys.
Radio traffic with Sebastian Bourdais and his team.
Guys, if it's not a race, I don't know what it is.
Bourdais saluting the fans with the number 1 signal. The real number 1 signal. Clenched fist. What a great drive.
Great drive. His parents here. That's his girlfriend, Claire, who moved here from France, one of the top runners in France. Moved to the States to be with Sebastian.
And Bourdais on his cool-down lap. What a run. Started on the pole.
Incredible.
What a day, if we can recap for a moment. Bourdais started on the pole, got together with his teammate Junqueira in turn 1. Went around, lost the lead, thought his day was done. Came out 13th on the restart. Methodically picked him off, got to the front, and blew by Tracy. As Bourdais will come to victory lane in a moment. Moments ago, the Newman Haas McDonald's team celebrating. Carl Haas and Paul Newman celebrating up top in the scoring stand. Tracy said he resigned the second spot.
Well, I think he realized he gave his best performance and really had nothing for him.
They take the headrest out of the car to allow Sebastian Bourdais in victory lane to climb out of the McDonald's number 2. 5th time this season that the young French pilot has guided that race car to victory lane. In a season and a half of the Tour, Tommy Kendall, he's won 8 times.
Well, he's clearly something special. We saw that from the very first race he did in St. Pete last year. And this year, a year under his belt, you only expected him to get a little bit better, having seen the circuits.
And Sebastian, this is a great celebration here. His dad is here from France. His mom, Jocelyn, is here. That might be the finest drive that we have seen from Sebastian Bourdais. People are here. They're shaking with excitement. Sebastian, you look hot. You look sweaty. That was as good a drive as we have seen from you in a difficult racetrack.
Yeah, it could barely be better. I mean, at the start of the race, everything went wrong, and you know, I knew we had a good car, and as long as I was not going to go a lap down, it was possible to come back, but I never thought that we could win the race until the half of the distance. And then everything was going so fast, we were coming back very close, and that was amazing.
Go on, give her a kiss. There you go. That's what you get when you win a race like this, fellas.
The celebration continues in the streets of Denver. Sebastian Bourdais' 5th win of the year, an incredible run from the back of the pack. A wild one here in the streets of Denver. A terrific run for Sebastian Bourdais, 13th after a restart early. He was the restart, really. He was the cause of the full course caution. Got into trouble with his teammate going down into turn 1 after starting on the pole. Restarted at the rear, raced his way to the front, got by Paul Tracy after the final pit stop, and sailed home to victory. Junqueira, Dominguez, and Allmendinger the rest of the top 5. Justin Wilson up to 7th at the end, and Mario Haberfeld with the top 10.
Yeah, and a good run for the Reynard. They came close to a top 5, but couldn't quite close it out in Elkhart. It's nice to see them get a top 10 run.
And Alex Tagliani comes back from a couple of incidents to claim a top 10 last week's winner. Nelson Philippe's best run, a 13th, best run in his first run with the MyJack team. Michel Jourdain back to 14th. Bourdais getting the applause, well-deserved from the fans as he walks in to the post-race news conference in the media room here at the Pepsi Center where the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche play. Let's take a look at the season standings now with 9 races complete. Bourdais builds his lead over Junqueira to 58 markers with his 5th win. Tracy back to 3rd.
And I bet you Sebastian Bourdais would probably tell you that's the finest drive of his entire life.
Carpentier back to 5th now in the standings, tied with Tagliani. But Bourdais takes a huge step toward a championship this year in 2004. 2004 ChampCar World Series season, only one driver has done it all. Sebastian Bourdais. He's won from the pole. He stayed out of trouble to take the checkers. Sebastian Bourdais, 3 straight wins. This skilled sophomore is a mild-mannered fellow, but when he was dissed on the track in Denver, Bourdais to turn 1, Junqueira right with him. And they both go! Bourdais goes around. He took a drive on the wild side, showing he could do whatever it takes to get the job done. Bourdais gets by.
Unbelievable.
Now 6 poles, 5 series victories. He's the ChampCar points leader. Who can stop this Frenchman's march to a title? The ChampCar Grand Prix of Montreal is next. Bridgestone presents the ChampCar World Series, powered by Ford. We've got various in-car looks for you today here at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We'll ride with Alex Tagliani. The Rocket Sports Johnson controls Lola today. Tagliani dug himself a significant hole. He qualified only 7th. Michel Jourdain won here a year ago. He struggled this weekend in his new Rouge Sport ride, car number 9, and Jourdain will start deep in the field. Jimmy Vasser also has an onboard look for us today. Vasser in car number 12, the Gulfstream Lola, the PKV Racing entry, and that 193 logo on the race car right in front of Jim, denoting that he breaks Al Unser Jr.'s record today. J.D. Wilbur has the green flag in the air. Glad to have you with us, and we are underway. Trouble, couple of cars in the water, in the grass. Everybody stays on the racetrack. Battling for position.
And Allmendinger caused a big scramble by being conservative, trying to get through that first corner. Big scramble behind him. He's fallen all the way back to 4th or 5th.
Big move to get back towards
like
second.
I'm guessing he might have a flat tire. Look at that traffic jam behind Allmendinger.
The leader is Bourdais by a comfortable margin. Yeah, Allmendinger way off the pace. Cut a tire down. Many of these drivers on the alternate tires. Allmendinger and Bourdais at the head of the field, opening on alternates today. There's Justin Wilson in the MyJack car. And Allmendinger just losing incredible time. It looks like it's the left rear that's down. This, the hairpin, turn 10. There's Allmendinger in the Western Union car. Bourdais with a comfortable lead as we come to the close of lap 1. And Tom, that's that curbing you were talking about.
That's the curbing I was talking about. That was a good view of those red sidewalls denoting the alternate tire.
Mario Dominguez settling into second, but he's almost 2 seconds back already. Junqueira to third, Tracy to fourth. Allmendinger will be last, and he probably won't lose a lap here, but he will lose incredible track position.
Oh, now the suspension has failed.
A.J. Allmendinger. Here it is, coming to the stripe.
See A.J. taking it easy on the right side. And what happens, Tracy ends up going off the outside here into the grass, gets pushed off by Tag, and he can't get it stopped. Berms into the side pods, and the rear wing of Tagliani got into Allmendinger's left rear.
One more look at it. Brian Hunter-Reay, for the third time this weekend, has gotten off the racetrack, and this time it's into the wall. He's thrown the steering wheel already. Tommy Kendall looks like his day is done.
Well, it looked like he was running better than he had. He had some real trouble with the brakes. He was complaining about, he said we were down on pressure in the brakes, so that's, here's going to be a look at it. This is exiting the first chicane. Wow.
Full course caution being displayed. He knows that car in. Something of a joke this weekend. The Urdez team has had a lot of problems. Hunter-Reay knocked the wing off. He just missed hitting the Armco very hard here yesterday. He was charging up through the field, but obviously a short day.
Well, and the joke was that Keith Wiggins of Urdez had told his drivers, if you're going to crash, you got to go in forwards because we're out of rear wings. And so, they'd torn off a bunch in the last several weekends, and so they were almost out of rear wings.
So Ryan Hunter-Reay takes the headrest out, and his team consulting with Keith Wiggins and the rest of the leadership of Team Urdez on pit road. So full course caution, working lap 7 early in the going at the ChampCar World Series Grand Prix of Montreal. Bourdais is your leader. Now Bourdais back on the hammer, 9.7 seconds his lead over Bruno Junqueira. Junqueira still searching for his first win of the season. 4 times this year Junqueira's been the runner-up, and that has helped power him to second in the standings. Bourdais deciding now's the time. He wants to make his second stop of the race. Calvin Fish still on alternate tires for now.
He is, and he's going to put the third set on, and the rules dictate you have to run the standard, the primary tire, at least once during the race today, so that would mean on his final stop, he would switch over to that and be a little bit slow. We understand that these tires are worth about 3 to 4 tenths. McDonald's crew go to work. Looks like a routine stop. No changes to the front wing. They're just waiting for fuel. So a good stop by the McDonald's guys so far. It looks like a full fuel load once again. Calvin Alex Tagliani is just about out of fuel. Now watch the front wing. They're going to take 3 extra seconds. They hope that's all it'll take to put tape around that critical front wing end plate. Oh, it's not that easy. You can see the roller tape going all the way around. Oh, it doesn't stick on. The tape will not stay on. He said, forget it. He said, forget it. They're going to take a risk, and it doesn't make any difference. They're still trying to fire his engine. They got it running. Here we go.
And that certainly took extra time on pit road.
Yeah, it did.
Which Tagliani could ill afford. Running up in the top 4. Making his stop, heading back to the racetrack, so that wing will continue to flap in the breeze. We're past halfway, side by side, Tracy and Carpentier. Tracy elbows his way by for 4th spot. So Tracy fighting an evil handling race car, able to keep it in the top 5 time.
Yeah, and that's just grit right there, determination. And Bourdais runs long.
Yes, he does.
At the hairpin. And he's off the pace.
Bourdais in trouble at the hairpin. He's got a tire down or a broken rear end.
I think it's a broken suspension. I think the right rear suspension has collapsed.
Sebastian Bourdais, the championship leader, just stopping moments ago for the 2nd time, carrying that left front wheel, and no, he's not running a sprint car at Knoxville. So Bourdais in trouble. Here's the look. A.J. Allmendinger alongside. These two started side by side.
Oh!
Hard contact there with Allmendinger.
Wow.
Calvin Fish.
Well, he's making his way down pit lane, and Craig Hampson and the boys saw that replay and just went absolutely ballistic down here. We have to imagine there's severe damage to the right corner there with the left front sticking up in the air. They're going to come in, do a routine check of the car, and see if they can continue. But I would say that his day is over. As the car jack went up, and yet Pete, the man at the back of the car, just says the day is over. What a heartbreaker for the championship leader. We talk about the other guys needing to get back in the chase. Junqueira and Tracy, maybe they have got that break today, Rick.
Wow, what an incredible turn of events going into turn 10 there. A.J. Allmendinger getting into Bourdais, knocking him into the air, breaking the race car. This cycles Allmendinger back to the head of the field again.
And that's what he has to do. He has to make time. So while Bourdais came out of the pits on his cold tires trying to get up to temperature, he was leaving the door open, but he eventually turned, not knowing that AJ was unable to get it stopped.
This is the 10th race of the season. Remember, Bourdais had that 58-point lead actually coming in here. And this will certainly change things quite a bit. Bourdais not happy, takes the wheel off. He is coming out of the race car. His day is done. So Bourdais, who's been machine-like in his precision this year, a lot of emotion, slapping the side pod of the race car. Sebastian Bourdais done, heads toward the racetrack. Billy Camphausen there puts the arm on him and says, "Don't you dare." So Bourdais throwing the gloves. You know, we had this impression of him that he was unemotional, cool, calm, very laid back. He's shown us a lot of emotion the last couple of weeks.
Well, I think he keeps him pretty bottled up and does a good job of controlling him. But, you know, in a situation like this, it all comes pouring out. I mean, he can afford this. This isn't a crushing blow for his championship.
No.
You know, he wants to win this race. It was going exactly like he liked it. You know, it's AJ ultimately got in the side of him, but I put part of the blame on Bourdais. When you're in that position, you've got to be aware of if a guy being right doesn't do any good if you turn and you get put out.
Bruno Junqueira has taken the white flag. Carpentier 7.5 seconds back. We have documented for you throughout the season the struggles of this team. Second in the championship, but unable to break through to victory lane for Junqueira this year. He has won races in this series before, many times. It looks as though he's on his way to his first win of 2004 here today at Montreal. This would be his 6th career championship win, the ChampCar World Series, if he can hang on for the final half lap. For Newman Haas, it would be their 6th win of the season as well, the previous 5 at the hands of Sebastian Bourdais. Final straightaway to the last chicane, and then the final run to the start-finish line for your race leader, Bruno Junqueira. Up through the gears for the final time, Junqueira heads to the checkered flag. Your winner.
All right, Bruno. Good job, Bruno.
In
Good job, guys, in the pit. Maybe we're going to turn it around a little bit here. Good job, Bruno.
Patrick Carpentier in second. You can hear the call.
You guys, great job. Today's our turnaround day. You're going to do it. Thank you. Great pit stop. Great car. Thank you so much, guys. After 10 races, you guys deserve it.
Bruno thanking his crew for the great pit stops today. Congratulations all around from both ends of the Newman Haas pit area here at Montreal today. Junqueira winner. Carpentier comes across in second spot, and Mario Dominguez grabs third. Tracy is shown fourth. A.J. Allmendinger, at the moment at least, is scored fifth. Michel Jourdain gets sixth. Alex Tagliani finishes seventh. Jimmy Vasser, breaking the career consecutive start record today, is eighth. Oriol Servia ninth after that late race incident with Tagliani. And Roberto Gonzalez comes home in 10th spot. So both of the PKV Lolas in the top 10 here today. Rodolfo Levine was up in the top 6 earlier. He ends up in 11th spot. Gaston Mazzacani in 12th, a good run for him. And Mario Haberfeld in 13th. Justin Wilson 14th as Paul Newman accepts congratulations from members of his team. Happy indeed that his Pacificair car came across the stripe first.
This is the Vanderbilt Cup, the ultimate prize for every driver in the ChampCar World Series. This season, Sebastian Bourdais has more victories than anyone else as he bids for his first ChampCar title. His biggest challenger, though, is his teammate Bruno. And again in Denver. But it was Bourdais' incident with A.J. Allmendinger in Montreal 2 weeks ago that led Junqueira through to score his first win and move within striking distance of the title. They're on the same team. They have the same dream. When the green flag falls, it's every man for himself. Round 11, the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey is next.
One more lap before the green flag will be shown. 80 laps around Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. We talked a little bit about that alternate tyre, which is designated with that red sidewall on the tyres. You can see it quite clearly. Here's Sebastian Bourdais. You can see it there, the side of the car. The only drivers not starting on alternate tyres, which is the softer of the two compounds, are Justin Wilson, Mario Haberfeld, Rodolfo Levine, Jimmy Vasser, and surprisingly, Bruno Junqueira and Jonathan Bomarito. It's going to be very interesting to see, the strategy is always a big part of this racing, and who uses their softer tyres when is going to be very, very crucial.
No, absolutely. I mean, maybe Newman Haas has something up their sleeve, starting one car on the soft tires, one car on the harder compound tire to see how the tires last. It's fairly hot out here. It's cooling off a little bit, but tire wear will be an issue as well.
John, you've raced on this track just an hour or so ago. How is the racetrack in great shape? It certainly seems to be.
Visibly, the track looks great. You know, it was a little bit windy during our race, and there's actually some sand blowing across up around turn 6 and into the corkscrew. So times were not where I had expected them to be. My car went a little bit loose, but things have warmed up, so I think these guys are going to be in good shape.
Here we are getting ready for the start. A very fast start, and Sebastian Bourdais leads him up to the start. And I think Paul Tracy got a jump on Patrick Carpentier. The rest of the field, absolutely nowhere. Very surprising start. And then Tracy looks to the outside of Sebastian Bourdais. That's on board with A.J. Allmendinger looking back at his teammate. And Bourdais just held off Tracy there, Jonathan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a really fast start. They got spread out. It's kind of singling up here now. Bourdais is still in the lead here.
John Fogarty, that's the complete opposite to your start earlier on.
It's amazing. You know, we talk with the starters at the beginning of the race, and they tell us what they want to see, and what I just saw was absolutely not what they were looking for. But
Mario Haberfeld has a spin. That's right in front of our booth here, actually, in turn 4. He got on the grass. Well, there isn't any grass. It's just dirt down there. But he does get going, and I think no contact. So Mario Haberfeld will rejoin at the back of the field. But meanwhile, back to the front there. This is the infamous corkscrew. Turn left, and it just plunges downhill on board with Bruno Junqueira. Just talk us over there, John.
You get a little understeer right here, and then actually the corner we're coming up to right now, turn 9, is unbelievably quick. Huge amount of downforce, very physically demanding. You know, heavy steering wheel.
There's one of the IJ. That is, I think, Justin Wilson along with the Rodolfo Levine. They've had a contact coming out of the cork through the bottom of the hill there, and you can see Mario Haberfeld waving his way through. This is Justin Wilson. Poor old Justin. You can see the damage to the front wing on that car. Looks like he might have been switching that thing off. Here's a replay. Maybe we can see what happened. I think that was Ryan Hunter-Reay going through the corner. And Rodolfo Levine got into the back of Justin Wilson going into the corkscrew turn and turned him around, John, yes?
Yeah, you know, I think people saw what Zanardi did there back when, and they think they can all be heroes. It's a difficult place to pass. I think that was a little bit opportunistic on Rodolfo's part. But, you know, he's going for it. He's trying to push hard, so racing incident.
It didn't really look like he was even trying to make a pass. He just seemed to run in the back of him.
Yeah,
He'd already turned into the corner.
Yeah, I know. It's visibly going in there. You know, it's hard to see, and then the car gets light over a crest. Looks like just a racing
Looks
mistake.
like some damage to the left front suspension on Justin Wilson's car. Boy, the Englishman has had just dismal luck the last half dozen races or so, either mechanical problems or contact with other drivers. And I have to say, generally, it's been initiated by someone else. But he pulls it into the pit and switches off the engine. So I think that's quite likely the end of Justin's day. And Johnson Bomarito, what a disappointment for Justin. He's been so strong in virtually all of the races this year. Had a dismal time in qualifying, but he was still looking forward to a strong race.
Oh, I mean, it really is. He's done a great great job all year. You know, coming over here, never seeing the tracks before, and he's been really performing well. He's a pretty good battle in the rookie points this year.
Well, Bourdais is in the pits, I believe. The timing of scoring is showing that Bourdais is in the pits. We don't know why. We're on board here with Justin. Was there finally is Sebastian Bourdais' car. Off come one set of Bridgestone alternate tyres. On goes another set. The teams have 7 sets of regular tyres for the weekend and 2 sets of alternate tyres. So already he's used both his alternate tyres. We don't know what the problem was. We will try to find out. But that's interesting. He should come in and right away at the beginning of the race switch to another set of tyres, John.
Absolutely. You know, this is going to, the experience of Newman Haas Racing is really going to come into play here. They've been faced with these situations before. It's probably going to change their strategy for the rest of the race. I expect Bourdais to still be able to challenge. It's going to be make it a little more interesting for sure, though.
We're hearing that perhaps there was a flat right rear tyre on that car. That is why he changed. And of course, that was an alternate tyre. The alternate tyre is the softer tyre, so that certainly is going to hurt him as this race goes along. The alternate tyres are generally shown to be, well, somewhere between 3/10 and 7/10 quicker over a lap, and over a long stint, that adds up to an awful lot of time. So to lose effectively one of those softer sets of tyres is a big penalty.
Well, Michel Jourdain Jr. has cycled to the lead of the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Halfway next time by, he leads Carpentier. Everything you could hope for happening here in the ChampCar Grand Prix of Monterey, the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey, because Michel Jourdain Jr. has found himself the beneficiary of the problems, first for Bourdais, now for Tracy. Tagliani off cycle on his stops, and now it's Jourdain at the head of the class.
And I'm surprised he's actually been able to ease away a little bit from Patrick Carpentier. Now, Carpentier knows maybe Carpentier is back to saving fuel now that Tracy's disappeared from his mirrors. He doesn't have to get by Jourdain. He knows Jourdain has to make 2 stops to his 1. So maybe he's just playing the smart thing, letting this unfold as it will. And then he knows Jourdain's going to be coming in soon. He'll have a clear track at that point.
In fact, word on the radio is he's coming in next time by Gaston Mazzacani there in Dale Coyne's 19. Smoke showing off the back end of that car. Remember, Mazzacani was involved in that early incident contact with Nelson Philippe. Philippe cut a tire. He went off at the opposite end of the racetrack. What about A.J. Allmendinger? Qualified 4th, ran 3rd early. He goes off the racetrack. He's been struggling. Allmendinger back to 5th. And Servia getting by him. Servia now in 4th spot. There was a move made here. This is Allmendinger cutting to the inside. Up over the curb. They lock wheels in 2. And Servia went off briefly and got back on the racetrack. This is Allmendinger.
Allmendinger's front suspension, you can see the right front wheel pointed in. The wheels are pointed at each other, pigeon-toed like. Bent toe link on the front suspension on the right front.
And Servia watching Allmendinger go off after that contact. So Servia moves to 4th. Allmendinger fighting it. Don't even know he's going to be able to get it around. Meantime, Jan Vikas.
And of course, his teammate in the meantime was trying to make a routine pit stop. They were set up for AJ, and they're taking a lot of wing out of the front. Waiting for fuel. Anytime you take wing out of the front, that means the car was loose. You take wing out of the front, gives you some pushback trying to balance that car out.
Jourdain completes his service. The Rousport team can reset now. Ray J. Allmendinger, look at the wheel turn to the right as he brings the car to a stop. He will shut it off, and they will go to work on the front end. Now, changing a toe link takes a long time, and we'll see what kind of work they do on the Western Union number 10. At Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, A.J. Allmendinger, who was in the top 3 earlier, some contact moments ago with Oriol Servia, has bent the front end of the 10 car, and they have had to bring him to pit road, shut the car off, and go to work on the nose of the Western Union Lola. 5 lead changes so far among 5 drivers. Patrick Carpentier, now your leader. Let's take a look here at what happened. That was on board Allmendinger. That contact with Servia is what bent the front end up.
And we kind of joined that late, so we don't know what that looked like starting out, but clearly he was trying to outbrake Oriole. Came down the inside, Oriole turned in, and AJ was a long ways up alongside of him, but he was just about even wheel to wheel, but he was going fast enough that he couldn't hold the car in as tight as he needed to.
Michel Jourdain had pitted. He's off cycle on pit stop strategy as well with all the cautions we've had. So all of this has cycled Patrick Carpentier back to the head of the class in the Index Forsyth number 7. Bruno Junqueira 13 seconds behind. Oriol Servia moves to 3rd. Got to believe that Carpentier has picked off the fast lap of the race. We don't have that in front of us on our scoring monitor, but he was so much quicker than everyone else. You have to think that is in his column right now. Dominguez trying to get by. Levine and Mazzacani can't do it. Carpentier's caught him up. Just about, anyway. They'll get the white flag next time by. Less than a minute to go by the clock. Carpentier just putting on a clinic here today. Started on the outside pole alongside Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais and Tracy, who lined up behind him, got caught up in an early incident. Bourdais been in trouble on pit road 2 separate times. Carpentier settled back into 3rd spot early and then 2nd. Tracy had problems. He took over and he's led the rest of the way. White flag in the air. Katie Wilbur showing the field 1 to go. And Carpentier will listen and see.
You got a huge lead, okay? Nice and conservative.
Is that the last lap or we still got 2?
Last lap.
The reason he's asking is Pat knows this is supposed to be an 80-lap race. He's wondering why they gave him the white flag on lap 78. I'm wondering the same thing myself. Oh, never out of time. Out of time. Silly game.
As Carpentier makes it up the hill, headed toward the corkscrew one final time here today at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. And he has backed down a 1:14.5 last time around. So it'll be the 3rd win of the season for the Index Forsyth Racing squad. But he put a tire off. Mazzacani big off through the dirt. Nearly caught the leader. What a way to have your day end on the final trip around with a huge lead. Just avoids Mazzacani. Carpentier off turn 11. Headed toward the checkered flag.
Checkered flag, baby. Way to do it.
Carpentier wins the ChampCar World Series event for the 5th consecutive season, 2nd straight year at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. And for Dale Coyne's team, Oriol Servia heads home in 3rd spot, and it'll be the first time in 8 seasons that a Dale Coyne car has made the podium. Roberto Moreno turned the trick at Michigan in 1996. So for Dale Coyne and his bunch, a terrific day here at Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca.
Big O. Stands for overachiever. I'll tell you what, that's a great result for them.
Carpentier defeats Junqueira, Servia 3rd, Jourdain and Hunter-Reay in the top 5. Points leader Bourdais loses a spot. He is 8th at the finish. We'll be back. The season championship battle couldn't be hotter. Sebastian Bourdais, we thought, was headed to a title with no problem at all. He's had problems the last several weeks. Bruno Junqueira, his teammate, now just 24 points behind with 3 races to go in the season. And I'm joined topside by Trans Am champion Tommy Kendall. It's been an entertaining year, and Las Vegas certainly a unique place to come to race.
Well, you know the saying about Las Vegas, what happens in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. Well, in racing terms, what happens in Vegas doesn't happen anywhere else. This is the only time the Champ Cars run under these basically restricted rules where the speeds are capped, and it leads to pack racing. The cars should be all over each other. The best analogy I can use would be that when they're in a pack like that, they behave differently. It's almost like electrons that are excited. They literally vibrate, and it makes for some very tense moments. One guy that I think may be best able to capitalize on the ovals, the pack racing, and here in Las Vegas is none other than the leader of the off-track Rat Pack here in Vegas, Jimmy Vasser.
This, though, the battle for the lead down in 1. Coming up on 20 laps to go. Nobody sitting here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's an old joke, but a good one. They bought the seats. They're not using them here tonight.
There's a lap car up ahead. This could be the one variable that whoever, if they catch it at the same time and it doesn't slow one or the other down, but if Bruno can make Sebastian commit, if Sebastian has to commit to the high side and Bruno can use that to get underneath him, this lap car could play into the equation here.
16 cars remain in competition. Paul Tracy, Guy Smith done for the night. Flat out all the way around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Right now, if they finish in this order, Bourdais would build his lead back to 27 over Junqueira. Carpentier would be 70 back with 2 races to go, effectively out of the championship.
That lap car is Alex Tagliani.
Bourdais in the McDonald's number 2 has led since lap 79 with 20 to go. Junqueira in the Pacific Air number 6 has run in his wake. He pulls up alongside. Junqueira trying to get a run through the tri-oval on his teammate.
He's got one.
For the lead, Newman Haas. The 2 team cars are side by side. A little further back for third spot, Rodolfo Levine battling with Carpentier. Junqueira with the advantage by a wheel heading down into 3. Junqueira and Bourdais. Remember the bad blood between these two earlier in the summer. Ever so close.
Which car is going to get a draft from Tagliani now?
That's Tagliani in the Johnson Controls car up ahead. Less than 20 to go at Vegas.
Junqueira,
he's got the edge by a whisker. Tagliani's up ahead. Not nearly as quick as the 2 leaders.
And he's staying high. He's going to help Bruno out here.
Or does he pick Bruno off? Does he leave the bottom open for Bourdais? There's another car in the mix as well. It's Mazzacani. Junqueira balked by Tagliani. Bourdais threads the needle. Hangs on to the point. Wow, did that cost Bruno?
Big time.
Now he's lost the draft. Did he have to lift there?
Well, he obviously felt he did. I thought it was going to work out in his favor.
Meantime, the battle for third. Levine hangs on to the spot. Check that. Carpentier has gotten by Levine for third. Dominguez and Vassar right there. Vassar has moved up now. He's up into 5th. Dominguez back to 6th. Allmendinger is 7th. Wilson's gotten shuffled all the way back to 8th. So the battling for 3rd through 8th has been equally intense with 15 to go. This is Levine with Vassar as they battle for 4th. Let's take one more look at the battle for the lead. Bourdais on the bottom. Junqueira balked by the lap car of Tagliani. Moving around Mazzacani as well. One more look at it.
And Bruno.
Looks like he didn't know which way to go.
Well, he was following Tagliani. I don't know if Tagliani lifted and he had to lift because all of a sudden Bourdais was able to squirt past all of them.
The gap now, Bourdais leads Junqueira by 17 hundredths. Now that's just an eye blink, but on the racetrack at these speeds, it's several car lengths. As we watch Levine and Dominguez for 4th spot. Up front, Bruno has caught up to Bourdais.
This is shades of Euro Speedway. And the guy that came out on top that day was Sebastian Bourdais, his first ever oval race, and he learned early on, keep it pinned to the white line. In that case, it was Mario Dominguez who could get all the way up on the outside of him, but not quite clear of him.
Now, the last time they did this a few laps ago, Junqueira was able to inch ahead. He wasn't able to close the deal and pull in front of Bourdais.
And one thing that happened that enabled Bruno to get up there, Sebastian got a little bit too low and actually got down, not just under the white line, but on the apron, and his car wiggled a little bit.
I think that was just enough scrub to give Bruno, an extra car length. Now we've got another lap car they're approaching.
Coming up, 10 laps to go. This time by, there'll be 10 to go. Jan Beek, it's time to push all your chips to the center of the table.
Oh, yes, and lap traffic may play a part on that last exchange with Alex Tagliani. The engineer for Sebastian Bourdais, Craig Hampson, before that happened, had run down and had a conversation with Tagliani's team. Guess where he is right now? Herdez. He ran up and wanted to talk to Ryan Hunter-Reay's crew. That is the next car that they will find. They're looking for help to see if they can get help like they did with Tagliani.
Well, Bruno may not need any help. He's powering to the outside of Bourdais for the lead to the tri-oval. 9 to go.
And one thing that Bruno's doing well is he's trying to pin Sebastian on the bottom. See how close he's running to him? He's trying to make it so Sebastian has to lift.
They almost touched the last time they ran wheel to wheel. Ryan Hunter-Reay is up in front of this battle.
It's a high-stakes game, but he's trying to get Bourdais to have to lift by pinning him down against the bottom, not giving him any more room than he has to.
It gets no better than this in racing. Sebastian Bourdais has led since lap 79. His teammate Bruno Junqueira. They're 1-2 in the championship. Junqueira wants his second win of the season. Bourdais wants his first oval win of 2004, his sixth of this year.
To me, this says that Bruno has the fastest car. He's able to stay alongside him even though he's covering more distance around the outside.
Well, and he tracked Bourdais down. I mean, he gave up 5 car lengths at least in that lap traffic a few moments ago, and he was able to catch right back up to Bourdais.
Now the thing to look for is as they seesaw back and forth, who's ahead at the stripe. Last lap, they scored Bruno ahead at the stripe. Bruno was the leader at the stripe last time by.
Here they come to the line one more time, 6 to go.
Bourdais. That time Bourdais by 2 1/1000ths.
Taking a look at the Newman-Haas scoring stand. Carl Haas, Paul Newman, some friends, and Bruce Wilson.
The guy to Bruce Willis to the left. The guy to the right is Stan Barrett, the guy who went over 700 miles an hour in the Budweiser rocket car that Newman helped put the Budweiser sponsorship on way back when.
The original Skoal Bandit. Junqueira by a winglet that time. Bourdais scored second last time by. 5 laps to go at Vegas. 5 to go.
Who's your money on, Rick?
I like Junqueira.
I do too.
But it's Bourdais by a wheel as they power out of 4. Now, does Bruno lay back and wait till the last lap?
I don't think you can afford to lay back. It's not like a slingshot thing, so you need to stay there and hopefully, again, keep him pinned to the bottom and then hope that you can make something happen with one of these lap cars.
In the gambling capital of these United States, both these drivers had 4-1 odds posted on them earlier today. Here comes Junqueira again. 3 to go this time by. They come to the stripe. It's Junqueira by a winglet that time.
How about a nod to the McDonald team having to change engines on that car right before the race. Second time this weekend.
Unbelievable battling. It's been this way for 20 laps. Here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, they've been side by side. They'll get the 2 to go this time by. Lap traffic drawing closer. Bruno Junqueira in the Pacific Air car. Sebastian Bourdais on the McDonald's machine.
That time it was Bourdais by 5 1/1000.
And Mario Haberfeld is on the bottom of the racetrack directly ahead. Lap traffic last. Oh, and Bourdais with a bold move to the outside. Forces Bruno out of it. White flag this time by. Was that a championship move?
It was a race winning move.
Here comes Bruno. They get the white flag. 2 lap cars are up in front. Both these drivers holding it to the mat. Bourdais by a car. Junqueira. Bourdais may be stuck on the bottom. Third turn, last time around at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Junqueira may not get there. Bourdais the leader. They come to the line. It's Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais the winner. Junqueira runs second. Carpentier didn't even get a chance to see him climb all the way to third. Levine, his teammate, is fourth. And Jimmy Vasser rounds out the top 5.
I think Bourdais might have given Bruno a little half a slide job there in the middle of 3 and 4. Just let the car up a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what Bruno says afterwards.
Just enough to slow his momentum in that drive off the corner.
Exactly.
Sebastian Bourdais saluting the huge crowd tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Fist in the air. You know, at the start of the season, I didn't know him very well, Tommy. I thought he wasn't very emotional. He really is, and it's one of the things that makes him a champion.
Yeah, he keeps it pretty bottled up, which is why we didn't think he was emotional. Really pretty good control over the emotions. But there's a lot going on percolating inside that kid.
Fireworks here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Bruno Junqueira finishes second here again tonight, brings his car to the stop on pit road, and Sebastian Bourdais heads to victory lane. Fourth 1-2 for this team of 2004 as we watch the reaction of the car owners, Carl Haas and Paul Newman. ChampCar officials greeting the winner as they head toward victory lane. Huge display of fireworks, a tradition here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Bruno Junqueira out of the race car, helmet off already. Not pleased with how things turned out. Had the lead a couple of different times in the final 10 laps.
I think that might answer my question about whether there was a little slide job there.
Remember his reaction when he went off the track at Road America. What we heard him say on the radio, it is not fair, after contact with his teammate. Let's take a look at how they came across the line. Bourdais and Junqueira, a battle that'll be long remembered between those two. Carpentier and Levine was in the thick of it all night. Dominguez 7th. He was up as high as 3rd.
And that was, they just miscalled it on that last stop. They stopped him 2 laps early. Had to come in again and lost a lot of track position.
Justin Wilson was up to 4th, but just couldn't quite hang on. Good run, top 10 for Nelson Felipe. Take a look at the standings with 2 rounds to go in the championship. Bourdais builds that lead to 27 over Junqueira. Carpentier solidly in 3rd now because Tracy had those problems on lap 1.
Yeah, and a horrible weekend through and through for Paul Tracy. Probably a fitting end to it. Really just a non-factor.
Alex Tagliani currently 5th in the standings. So, 2 races to go in the championship. That concludes our coverage tonight of the Bridgestone 400 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Be sure and join us Sunday, October 24th. The ChampCar World Series visits Surfers Paradise in Queensland, Australia for the Lexmark Indy 300. For Jan Beekes and Chris McClure, Tommy Kendall, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for joining us tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and thanks for watching. We congratulate Sebastian Bourdais. So long from Las Vegas. ...2004 has been a year of dominance for Sebastian Bourdais in the ChampCar World Series. Bourdais leads the title fight, but to fulfill his destiny, he again must duel not only the full ChampCar field, but especially his Newman Haas teammate. That would be Bruno Junqueira. Junqueira's a dangerous second in the points. Now it's time for round 13 of Bridgestone presents the ChampCar World Series powered by Ford, and the tour returns to Surfers Paradise in Australia. Will 13 be Bourdais' lucky number to clinch the championship, or might fate favor the unexpected? We'll find out next from Australia. 15th ChampCar World Series event in Australia. There have been no repeat winners, only 2 former winners in the field, Paul Tracy, Jimmy Vasser, as we've seen many times today. John Andretti won here. Nigel Mansell won here. We also have Mario Dominguez and Ryan Hunter-Reay, former winners in the field, going back the last couple of years. So it's an unusual kind of set of circumstances here today, but this is a track that's produced different winners in the past. Let's see if they get the green. Coming to the line to start here today.
That was uglier than the last one.
Yeah. Green flag.
They got a green.
Tracy, the leader.
And look at Bruno. Bruno is pushed back to 4th. Oh, and Allmendinger gets in the back of Bourdais. They both go straight.
Will that be a penalty on Bourdais now?
I think because he was hit by Allmendinger from behind, they won't count that as him shortcutting the chicane.
And Allmendinger, who said he was going to take it easy, had a golden opportunity to try and follow Paul Tracy through. Oh, the
David
Australian.
Bernard has gone around at the start. There's a safety truck out there already. Bernard in the second, Derek Walker-Reynard,
who specifically said he's going to be conservative all through this race to try and take the thing home in one piece. I don't think he hit anything yet, but you don't often get away with a spin like that between these concrete walls.
Maybe he got caught up in the pageantry. They have those guys, those donut exhibitions before the start of the race.
Yeah.
Hey, Cold Tires first started a 750 horsepower ChampCar. Not a big surprise, at least to me. Tracy leads. Bourdais right now is second. Bruno is third, and Allmendinger.
Bruno was able to get around Allmendinger. Oh, and Allmendinger in too hot again. Straight lines the BB chicane.
And that may be a penalty right there.
And the two are Des cars. Ryan Hunter-Reay, Mario Dominguez next to line. Remember, they have won the last 2 of these races. Look at how loose Allmendinger was that time.
Allmendinger's having all kinds of trouble getting it stopped and going.
That may well be a penalty because there was none of those wheels on the racing surface, and I doubt he was hit from behind, so that could well be a penalty for A.J. Allmendinger.
Working lap number 3 with Tommy Kendall and Derek Daly. I'm Rick Benjamin. Great to have you with us at Surfers Paradise, Queensland, Australia. The ChampCar Grand Prix of Australia. 14th renewal of this event. Your Des mates going at it tooth and nail. Oh! And Bruno outbreaks Serbia, who gives him room.
Taking the risks, taking all the gambles. We hear Tracy may take the gamble.
May stretch it.
May stretch it.
Tracy sits 4th. Remember, he had that off and spin earlier.
Oh, look
up the left front there, going into the corner.
He is absolutely flat out right now.
And here he comes.
Okay.
Bruno Jean-Pierre. Big crash. Is that Carpentier?
Oh, and this is
Tracy.
This is a huge one, and the yellow is coming at the wrong time. Bruno's already in there.
Of course,
that might be that
Carpentier put that car hard into the wall.
And now the yellow, he's not going to stop. I bet he goes right through. No, he is going to stop because now they're going to save fuel. Why? They should have waited.
And Bourdais is in.
Splash and go for Junqueira. Bourdais still on pit road. Bourdais will not win. Bourdais down and away. Junqueira had already committed to pit road when the yellow waved.
That was a huge crash for Carpentier.
I'm wondering if that wing failed.
Hard to tell from what little picture we had. Tracy did pit as well, we're told.
Okay.
Remember what happened? Nelson Philippe at Laguna Seca when the front wing came off, went under the wheels, and that speared him off into the barrier.
Carpentier with questions about where he'll be racing next year, still in the balance. Let's take a look and see. There it is.
Front wings failed.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Off into the runoff area, and the tires.
Oh yeah, that's
did not go upside down, but a huge hit for Patrick Carpentier.
Yep.
He just nearly took out Roberto Gonzalez there. Went right across the racetrack in front of him. Shrapnel everywhere. And that's what happens.
Wow.
He tried to make it all the way with that broken front wing. Locking up the brakes. No brakes left. You can tell the wheel's still spinning. The rear wing off the car. Carpentier helped by the tires there.
And, of course, his brakes were gone also because the right side was gone, so front and rear brakes were also gone. Talk about landing on the feet of the safety people.
So now this may result in caution to the finish.
Bernard is 7th.
Right now, Junqueira shown as the race leader, Bourdais shown 2nd, Dominguez shown 3rd, and Tracy 4th.
Have a look at this look
I'm
again.
not sure scoring's recycled yet.
Okay, there's the wing off. Oh, yeah, that's it. Front wing off, spears him right into the guardrail, takes left side suspension off, which takes the braking system out of the car. He's probably doing 120 miles an hour there and goes off down the escape road. Wow.
Ambulance going to the scene. It looked as though
Carpentier went right in front of Roberto Gonzalez there as he went careening down the racetrack, down that short straightaway, and right into the runoff area. Fortunately, he was able to guide the car into the runoff area. Junqueira still the leader. Four laps to go, but a full course caution here at Surfers Paradise.
That's Eric Zito on the right side, Patrick's engineer. They are obviously concerned. I believe he is still in that car.
A couple of laps to go here. Carpentier off that win at Laguna early in September. A terrific drive. Fought through a good bit of adversity that day and stayed out of trouble and just drove a brilliant race. Trying to make fuel strategy pay off here at Surfers Paradise for a second win of the season. And Carpentier with that front wing that was flapping for a good 25 laps. That may have been what caused the wreck.
No, it's clearly what caused the wreck.
There's David Bernard. We thought his fuel strategy might cash into a big win. Here's a look now. Slow motion. Carpentier moving around one of the PKV cars. Making the pass here.
The wing is worse. Oh, there you go.
Just starts to separate from the car. And it turns him right in front of that PKV machine.
Great pictures here from Network 10 in Australia. Caught everything that happened right there. Now he's out of control. Brakes are now gone. There's front braking systems and rear braking systems. When you take a wheel off each side, you basically lose the brakes. Look at the speed he's gone down through there.
Threw him up into the air.
Right at the feet of the ChampCar safety crew. The finest safety crew in racing are right there within seconds.
So the safety car has picked up Bruno Junqueira. Now, a lot of that happened in the runoff area, so they may be able to get the debris swept up enough. Still 3 laps to go. It looks like it'll be Junqueira and Bourdais 1-2. The final lap, they're taking the white flag next time by, and there will not be a restart.
And you can see the runoff area there, Tommy, the strobe still flashing. They're still trying to clean up that area. It's not so much getting Carpentier out of the car. You've got to get the safety walls back in line again if they were going to go racing.
So Junqueira and Bourdais will run 1-2 at Surfers. Mario Dominguez will come across the line. There he is, third. And Paul Tracy will end up fourth with Ryan Hunter-Reay, last year's winner, here in fifth. It'll be a good result for the Urdez team, third and fifth in a year where they've had some struggles.
Well, and talk about the repeat winner jinx. I mean, Tracy looked like he had this in the bag. The only concern was fuel, and then he just got the rears locked up and basically threw this away in the last stint.
And fuel wasn't the issue in the end.
No,
because of the lengthy yellow.
Tracy won here back in 1995, but will not make it 2 wins at Surfers Paradise this weekend, and will not make his third victory of the season either here in 2004. Bruno Junqueira started third, and it looks as though he will come home first. Final time around this 2.8-mile layout under caution after the big wreck by Patrick Carpentier just a few moments ago.
Bruno won in Montreal. 6 second places. Can you imagine that? In a year that he was expected to be the team leader or the dominant driver in this team with the Pacific-Air car. But Bourdais really has been the star of the season.
It has been a year of consistency for Bruno Junqueira, but a year of frustration as well. Some of that frustration will be satisfied, I think, here today.
Mario Dominguez, the visor up, getting some nice, cool, fresh air. He's had a great afternoon here. Has had a stellar drive, absolutely flat out, right with the Newman Haas boys as you see the checkered flags.
Caution still displayed. The checkered flag waves, and Bruno Junqueira takes the victory here at the ChampCar Grand Prix of Australia. Sebastian Bourdais comes home second. Dominguez is third. Tracy and Hunter-Reay fourth and fifth. A.J. Allmendinger gets sixth ahead of David Bernard in seventh. Justin Wilson is eighth. Guy Smith ninth. Nelson Philippe with another top 10. A very good run for Philippe. Gonzalez in 11th. Vassar 12th. Servia 13th. Aberfeld, Levine, Carpentier, Jourdain, Yanis, and Tagliani rounding out the order of finish. And congratulations, handshakes all around. The title fight will move on to Mexico.
20 years ago, the Newman Haas team scored their first ChampCar title. Fellow named Mario Andretti was at the wheel. Over the years, other greats have driven to ChampCar glory, but those titles were nothing like this year's battle. This year's Newman Haas mates, Sebastian Bourdais and Bruno Junqueira's multiple 1-2 finishes, have them in the top 2 spots in the points chase. They're on the same team. They share the same dream. The road has not always been smooth, however. Don Bourdais with a pole move to the outside.
From there, I just couldn't win the race anymore.
The battle for ChampCar's ultimate prize now comes down to the final race of 2004. When the checkers fall, will it be Bourdais or Junqueira at the top of the podium? Race 14, the championship from Mexico City, is next. Bridgestone presents the ChampCar World Series powered by Ford. Today, the ChampCar Grand Prix of Mexico City. One of the most beautiful cities in North America, nearly 700 years old. Art, architecture, and throngs of ChampCar fans. They've descended today on the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in record numbers to see the season finale of the ChampCar World Series. Hello again, everyone. I'm Rick Benjamin with Tommy Kendall. It's almost 2.8 miles around here, Tom. Show us this racetrack.
And this is a track where the Champ Cars can really air it out. That front straightaway over a kilometer long. But to keep you from trimming out, look at those S's from turn 7 all the way to turn 13. They're interminable. Then they give you a real unique section of the track, 14, 15, 16, through the infield of a baseball stadium.
Coming down to the final race of 2004, it's a heavyweight title fight. Bruno Junqueira, the challenger, visualizing this racetrack, getting set to strap in just moments ago. The points leader is Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais with 6 wins on the year. It's really been a season to remember. He's standing by. Earlier, our Derek Daly spoke to the points leader. Let's take a look at the starting grid before we hear from the drivers involved. On the front row, Bourdais and Junqueira.
And these two guys, drastically different races. Bourdais just has to keep his nose clean. Bruno needs to go to the front.
Second row, Justin Wilson wants to win today.
Both these guys started out the year with some good results, but need one to go into the offseason.
And Oriol Servia trying for a great result.
Trying to become the first Dale Coyne driver ever to finish in the top 10 in points.
In row 4, Allmendinger frustrated.
Yeah, that shows how much progress he's made. And Patrick Comparatier not feeling 100% after his big crash in Australia.
Ryan Hunter-Reay struggled again this weekend.
Yes, he has, and so has Michel Jourdain, and of all races, his hometown one. He was devastated after qualifying.
And the 6th row, Gonzalez with a lot of pressure.
And Michael Valiente, out of a race car for over a year, his Champ Car debut, has that Reynard way up the grid.
In row 7, Tagliani and Levine, they've been struggling all weekend.
Big time struggling over the bumps, especially for Tagliani. He was just shaking his head.
Dominguez just heartbroken.
Same thing. That pressure can either spur you to new heights or really have you perform less than your best.
Mario Haberfeld has been fighting it all weekend. He and Guy Smith will start in the 9th row. For Rocket Sports today, Nelson Philippe has been way off the pace all weekend. He will line up alone in row number 10. Well, before the drivers strapped in, we had a chance to send Derek Daly and Calvin Fish to talk to the title contenders. The points leader is Bourdais. Derek chatted with him earlier.
And Sebastian Bourdais on the pole. We've come through 14 races, 4 different countries, 2,300 miles of racing. This could be the biggest day of your racing career. Will you be anyway conservative?
Well, it's probably not the best way to try and stay safe, because when you're conservative, people have a shot at you. I think the McDonald's car has been very dominant this weekend, and hopefully, we can make the first turn clear. That's all I'm hoping for.
Thank you, Sebastian. Dominant is a word he used. However, the man who could snatch that championship away from him is with Calvin Fish. Calvin?
Well, indeed, Derek, and that man is his teammate, Bruno Junqueira. And Bruno, fresh off the victory in Australia, today's race, the championship on the wire. How aggressive can you afford to be on this opening lap, particularly the first couple of turns?
First, I think the turn 1 will be very hard. I try to get clean. If I have a chance to get a lead, yes. If not, I'll try to keep second. And it's a long race, then I can pass Sebastian.
Bruno, good luck. One thing's for sure today, it'll be a Newman Haas Driver Championship, the 5th in the history of that team, Rick.
Well, let's take a look at the situation as we ride with the points leader, Sebastian Bourdais. The 6 wins this season. Tommy's got a 22-point lead. 10th or better wins the championship.
So he just has to finish, but
Bruno has a much simpler race. Bruno needs to win this race. Bourdais has to keep track of all the different scenarios in his head. He's in a much better position to come the end of the day, but a nerve-wracking one. He's on pins and needles with everything that could go wrong.
Bruno Junqueira carrying our onboard cameras as well. The Pacific Air Secure Horizons #6. 2 wins on the season. Justin Wilson in row 2. Paul Tracy starting back there in the 3rd row. Will ride with Tracy today in car number 1. Green flag is in the air. 63 laps to go. And we are underway in Mexico City. Heading toward turn 1. This could be full of drama. Bourdais on the inside. Junqueira tucks into 2nd. Wilson settles into 3rd. Vassar and Tracy there fighting for 4th.
Sebastian's biggest concern.
Tracy in trouble off the racetrack in the first couple of corners. Trying to get back up to speed as they work out of the first few turns onto the straightaway. Bourdais is out in front. Junqueira 2nd. Wilson and Vassar next in line. And there's Serbia and more trouble. A tangle up in that right-hander coming to the short straightaway. Turn 3.
What I was trying to say was here's a look at that's the exit of turn 3.
Our pictures courtesy of our friends at TV Azteca, our host broadcasters here in Mexico City this weekend, as we watch Bourdais with about a 4-car length advantage over his teammate Junqueira. Tommy, 63 laps today. It's about 2.8 miles around here. And we didn't get a chance to mention at the top of the broadcast, no pit windows today. You can stop whenever you need to.
Yes, and that opens things up. When we get some yellow flag laps, I suspect we'll see a number of guys trying to do it on one stop.
Off turn 17 to the main straightaway. Tommy, what are your Bridgestone keys to the race today?
Well, the Bridgestone keys to the race, first one is, can Sebastian stay out of trouble? And he dodged the biggest bullet, getting through turn 1 was the riskiest point of the day. He's through there, he's out in front, he's in control of the race. Can Bruno rise to the challenge? Bruno now has to get around Sebastian and hope for trouble, but he's got to win first and foremost, and then upset hopes. Virtually everybody else in the field needs a win for one reason or another. Jimmy Vassar hasn't had one in a long time. Justin Wilson wants one in his rookie year, et cetera, et cetera. So lots of guys, really, the championship's not on anyone's mind, really, except Sebastian.
Riding here with Rodolfo Levine, the Forsyth Corona beer machine, the 3-car. Levine back in 12th position after 1 lap. Mario Dominguez, who struggled all weekend, carrying the hopes of an entire nation. Early stop for tires and fuel. Back in 18th. Now, Tom, there was concern that some of these teams might try to go on one stop today. We might end up with a timed race. A lot of variables.
Well, I'm wondering if he maybe thought he had a puncture, because even if you wanted to adopt that strategy, this doesn't really buy you anything, because if there's a yellow, everybody else is going to come in and get out before he gets back around. So I'm guessing maybe he had a problem with a puncture.
We heard that Nelson Philippe also had that happen to him. Philippe started last. There was a skirmish up there in turn 3. We got a quick glimpse of it. That may have been what caught out Dominguez and Philippe. Meantime, Bourdais unchallenged so far. A couple of car lengths to the good over Junqueira. Final couple of corners. This is the baseball stadium part of the course. They come now onto turn 17 and then this long front straightaway, and we'll check the gap. Bourdais leads Junqueira. Wilson and Vassar rounding out the first 4. Bourdais continues to lead Junqueira, and here's Bruno, 2nd in today's event, 2nd in the championship, running those Bridgestone Reds. The alternate tires with the softer compound, much quicker. Over Friday and Saturday's action, practice and qualifying, some teams said they were as much as a second quicker here, and Bruno trying to use that plus his push to pass to mount some sort of a charge on his teammate Bourdais, but the gap still 17.8. Oh, look, Bourdais off. Sebastian Bourdais spins, doesn't hit anything though. In the baseball park area of the course, on the concrete. Team upset, gesturing on pit road. Let's ride with Bourdais back to the front straightaway.
Are you okay? Your tire's okay. Sorry, guys.
Question to Bourdais, are you okay? Are the tires okay? It seemed to be an affirmative answer. They seem to be having some radio issues there.
He said, sorry, guys.
Take another look at it. He was offline. Put a wheel on the grass.
Yeah, he got the front, and then he swerved, and then the rear cut the grass, and wow, he's lucky.
Lucky there's a big runoff area there.
Yep, lucky he had a 17-second lead.
Take another look.
Oh, he did himself a big favor. He gassed it going backwards, which stopped him short of those tires.
Bourdais, incredibly heads-up driver, and a great move there.
The gap now only 5.2 seconds.
But you spin all the way around and you don't lose the lead. Did he flat spot those tires, you think?
I don't think so. Well, the rears weren't flat spotted because they were
spinning at high speed.
130 miles an hour.
Top of your screen, the running order with the gap behind the leader. Amazing. Bourdais with a huge spin. Keeps the lead. He's still 5 seconds ahead of Junqueira. And the car seems to be okay. Now, should they bring him in to check things over?
No. What they've got to do is they've got to get him settled down. He's still in great shape. If he hadn't had a 17-second lead and you just said, hey, at lap 42, you're going to have a 5.2-second lead on your teammate, you're going to be faster than him. But somehow this has a way of rattling you. And again, that was the exact words used by crew guys on the Pacific Care car is, if we can get him rattled, we're not sure he handles that very well.
Bourdais maintains the lead. You saw their pit box a moment ago. They put fresh tires up on the wall. We're well inside the final window now. Lap 42 of 63 on the board. 21 remain here. So certainly one more stop will get everyone home today. Derek Daly, what's the situation?
Craig Hampson, I said everybody jump here. Was that a simple driver error, do you think, with Sebastian?
Yeah, he put a wheel off into the grass and he spun. He was following Dominguez. Dominguez is about to go a lap down, and dirty air really hurts a lot here. You don't really like to be in traffic, but yeah, he just made a mental lapse. He just got a little offline, and man, that was awful close.
Craig, do you now tell him to settle down? Are you concerned about flat-spotted tires?
Not worried about the tires. He says they're okay, and the pressures look okay. And it's not even really a settle down. It was a small mistake. Yeah, it's that fine an edge we're running on here, that fine an edge. I think we just got very, very, very lucky.
Thank you, Craig. And, of course, as we heard directly from Sebastian on the radio, he knew he made a mistake, and he apologized to all these people who worked so hard to give him the type of car that he's in today.
There you see the McDonald's 2 car. Bourdais still working through lap traffic.
Tracy did let Bourdais by.
Points 1, 2, and 3 here at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. There you see Jourdain in the Agante car leading this group. Tagliani right behind him as they run 9th and 10th.
And Bourdais gets by those two guys who will have lapped up through 9th place.
Here comes Jourdain. There you see Bourdais, the race leader. This, of course, allows Junqueira to chop into the lead, but he's got lap traffic separating himself from his teammate. 2.2 seconds the gap last time by. They'll get the 2 to go sign. They come over the stripe this time. Bourdais content to ride in formation for now. Bourdais has bonus points for taking the pole, for fastest lap of the day, for leading a lap here today. In fact, he's the only driver to have led all 60 laps so far. Did not even give up the lead on pit stops, according to our unofficial calculations. Didn't give up the lead during that huge spin, of course. Lost 15 seconds off the lead, but got back on the racetrack with a 5-second gap. They get the 2 to go sign from ChampCar starter J.D. Wilbur. Still, Jourdain down into the corner, leading Tagliani. And there is Bourdais. Next in line is Tracy, series champion in 11th, after battling hard all weekend to try to get a handle on that Forsyth number 1. Jourdain in 9th there in the Agante car. That's the red machine with the white and green trim that you see at the head of this group of cars. McDonald's team members on the radio talking to their driver Bourdais. He'll see the white flag this time by. Bourdais with the Vanderbilt Cup and $750,000 in series bonus money awaiting him if he can bring it home to the checkered flag. Paul Tracy right behind him. White flag should lock up the title for Bourdais. Remember, he needed an 11th or better. And right now, only 8 drivers are on the lead lap. Final corner coming to the front straightaway.
White flag.
1 to go. Bourdais, ChampCar, Allmendinger, Wilson, and Vassar.
Now that he's a champion, he wants by.
Enough of this. I want to lead him over the stripe. Looked like Michael Valiente dragging the brakes down into the first corner there at Derek Walker's 15.
It was tag, actually.
Was it Tagliani offline? There he is. There's Tagliani.
Tag didn't want to give up the spot to the lap to the leader and ended up costing him 2 spots.
Tagliani shuffled back. He was 10th going into the corner. Pushes it back a couple.
Got one of the spots back around Gonzalez.
Team still feeling the pressure. Bourdais about to put the icing on the cake by going flag to flag here in Mexico City. Here he is, the McDonald's car. Still tucked in behind Michel Jourdain. He has gotten around Tracy and Tagliani and Gonzalez just back there. Couple of turns to go for Sebastian Bourdais. Checkered flag awaiting the 2004 ChampCar World Series champion. ChampCar 2 seconds back in second. He will lock up second in the title fight. Final third, heading to the checkered flag in the 2004 season. Jim Swinton with the checkered flag. And Sebastian Bourdais has won his 7th race of the season, flag to flag, to cap it off here in Mexico. Celebration on pit road for the Newman Haas team as their driver leads all 63 laps here this afternoon at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Bourdais claims the Vanderbilt Cup, his first series title, the $750,000 in bonus money, and a tremendous season.
Now the point system is the point system, so it doesn't really matter. It turns out as it was, as it will. But it would have seemed unfair for a guy to have the season that Sebastian Bourdais had and not win the championship. So it's nice that it turned out as it quote should have.
8 poles, 7 victories, 15 consecutive top 3 starts for Bourdais after a tremendous performance to cap the season here in Mexico City. ChampCar finishes second in the championship. A.J. Allmendinger ends up third to Derek Daly.
Indeed, I just want to get in the middle of the celebrations here because, Paul, I know you've had many great days, many great champions, but Bourdais came here as a virtual unknown. What a champion he's turned out to be. What a great day.
Don't know what to say. It's marvelous that we finished 1-2 as well, but it's a hell of a drive. Got me nervous there for a while.
Paul, what is it about this team that develops so many great drivers? I mean, is it you?
It's Carl and it's the engineers and Carl and me, but we're very excited.
Another great day. Thank you, Paul Newman, the half of the Newman Haas team that has become very, very visible this year. As you watch Claire, his girlfriend, was in tears. His dad, Patrick, was on the phone as soon as the checkered flag came out, telling everybody back in France his mom could not come here. She had to work today.
Oh. Well, she'll have plenty to celebrate in the days and weeks to come. Claire heading toward victory lane to see her beloved as he comes to a stop to receive the accolades of the crowd here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Rookie A.J. Allmendinger ends up on the podium. 3rd spot today for Allmendinger by 1.2 seconds over Justin Wilson. Jimmy Vassar ends the season with another top 5 for the PKV team. Bourdais slowly through the baseball stadium. He's going to gas it up and cut some donuts here, perhaps, or a burnout at least. Other cars there, too. So Bourdais, discretion being the better part of valor, keeps the car pointed in a straight line and salutes the fans here in Mexico City. Bourdais is the race winner and the season champion. And Bourdais thinking about some donuts, perhaps, on the front straightaway. They're on the menu, no question about it, here in Mexico City. I guess Martin shutting down the engine or ruining the gearbox doesn't matter much at this point.
Well, there's a story circulating that he got fined by the team last time he did that because it damaged the differential. Hopefully they'll, oversee it. Overlook it, I mean.
Just a mob scene in Victory Lane. Bourdais with an incredibly dominant weekend. For those of us who thought he did not race with much emotion, I think we're seeing differently here.
Well, obviously, it's been bubbling underneath a very cool exterior. We saw glimpses of that fire when he had to come back at Denver.
Yeah, when he came from the back of the field and scored that amazing victory. And he made the charge in the last 25 laps at Denver. 7 victories on the season. A second in Australia. 3rds at Road America and Long Beach. And only 3 finishes off the podium. 4 finishes off the podium, we should say. 5th at Vancouver. 8th at Laguna after the contact with Tracy when he started up front. Then the DNFs at Montreal and at Milwaukee where he hit the wall. But other than that, just about a flawless season. Congratulations all around. It has been a long season for these teams. 14 races, but 11 months really when you figure the preparation time, preseason testing, spring training, and then going racing starting in April. 8 months of racing to conclude the 2004 season. Just a dominant day for Sebastian Bourdais. And as you said, Tom, really the fitting cap to the campaign for Bourdais.
Yeah, I mean, he rose to the occasion when he needed to. He wasn't just good enough here. He was really dominant all weekend long. Had a lot of guys up and down pit road shaking their heads with his speed in qualifying. And other than that little miscue when he tried to cool it, just a flawless weekend. And we've seen that he's the only guy that controls his own destiny on every given weekend because he's the quickest guy in the series right now.
Bourdais setting a mark that many will strive for. Few will be able to match in the seasons to come. What a year for Sebastian Bourdais. Victory Lane celebration. Sebastian Bourdais being saluted by the huge crowd of fans here in Mexico City and by the Newman Haas team. To Derek Daly.
I have never seen almost a fight scene like this before, just trying to get a piece of Sebastian Bourdais. Sebastian, that was pretty awesome. F3 champion in France, F3000 champion now, our ChampCar champion. Feels good?
It feels really, really good. We've been running after it the whole season, and today is going to be a great celebration for the whole Newman Haas racing team, and especially for the McDonald's crew.
What about the mistake? Everybody in the pit lane almost had a heart attack.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the shade was gaining on the racetrack and trying to pass Mario. I was really on the bumpy side, and the rear stepped out and touched the grass, and I spun, and I was really concerned to kill the engine, but it stayed on, and we won!
Yes, you did. Carl Haas is also here.
A great champion.
Carl, the champagne has stayed pretty good this year, but the victory for his championship is really what it's all about. Here we go. We're going to get a spray. Whoa! So is it?
Sebastian Bourdais and his teammates not even waiting for their trip to the podium, breaking out the champagne in celebration of another ChampCar title for Newman Haas Racing. The 7 wins for Bourdais, the 8 poles, just numbers really, but when you break it all down, Tommy, that's about as dominant a season as you could have in this series.
It really is, and the records he was chasing in terms of poles and wins took place in seasons that had maybe 17, 18 races. So percentage-wise, incredible. The key number is never qualifying worse than 3rd for the entire season.
You deal yourself a very playable hand when that happens. Runner-up today, runner-up in the championship, Bruno Junqueira with Calvin Fish.
Indeed, Rick, a 10 podium finish for the season for Bruno Junqueira, but for the 3rd year in a row, Bruno, you finished runner-up. Give you the reflections on the season.
I think that was my best season with the Pacific Car team. I drove great. I made no mistakes. Maybe I had too much penalties against myself. Then gave the Sebastian a chance to win. I mean, he drove well as well. Well done. Well done for Newman Haas 1 and 2.
Seemed like your car struggled a little bit on the alternate tyres, came to light there in the last stint. Were you aware of Sebastian's mistake in the spin and the gap that you closed there?
Yeah, I was. My car had too much understeer on the alternative tires, and you knew the alternative tires build more understeer. When it came to the regular ones, my car was feeling better. And Sebastian, again, very lucky not to crash, and it was a shame, but what can I do? He did a good season, and he finished first, I finished second this year. But next year, going to work hard again. I hope I can win the championship.
What do you need to do differently? When you look back, was there any mistakes? Was there a period in the season where you didn't push hard enough, Bruno? I know consistency is key with the point structure now, but when you look at the win columns, you both had 10 podium finishes, but you had 2 wins to 7 for Sebastian.
I think this year I didn't have the best qualifiers, but for sure, like, I should have like 5 or 6 wins, but I had so many penalties, so it was very difficult to win. So I hope next year I do the same thing, maybe a little bit better qualify, then it'll be great.
All right, Bruno, good luck next year. Let's go over to a man who had a tremendous season with Derek Daly.
Yeah, another big celebration here. You see Tara Reagan here standing beside her driver, AJ Allmendinger, the Roush Friends Rookie of the Year. I know that sounds good, but today was a really, really good race for you.
I mean, this was very important for us. We didn't belong starting 7th. The car was so much better all weekend. And, you know, we got through the turn 1 wreck. And after that, it was a matter of just saving fuel behind Oriole. And then after that, I got around him, and I was able to go 2 laps longer than everybody. And that put us in great position. My crew did an outstanding job on the pit stops. You know, Western Union, Fiji Products, Red Bull sticking with us all year. This is a great way to end the season and a great way to start next year.
Let me tell you something. You're lucky you didn't win. Look at the mob scene over there around Bourdais.
We'll just have to save that for next year in the championship, right? So I just want, hi, Mom and Dad. Hi, Laura. Everybody at home that's watching. Woo! That's for you, Dad.
There you go. AJ Allmendinger, a Rookie of the Year.
Second podium finish for AJ Allmendinger. He ran 3rd at Vancouver back in the month of July. Caps the season with a nice 3rd. It's been a great rookie year. But it really has been Sebastian Bourdais' season. We'll have more with Bourdais.